the presenter just 20 minutes, maximum. Maybe anything between 15 minutes and 20 minutes for his presentation. On behalf of the President, our President, Mama President, Mrs. Engineer Mrs. Oguntala, I'd like to bring you up for 20 minutes to do justice to your paper. Professor O.A.U. Uche, you have the floor.
My moderator, who happens to be the Vice Chancellor of New Ibadan University, I want to appreciate you. I want to appreciate my people, my constituency, the technical committee. I don't know whether it's becoming maybe a culture now that one of us will always speak during conferences. Last conference, we started it when Professor Alenge spoke, and as he took over, he wanted it to be part of the culture, to nominate one of us. Maybe next time, the Vice Chancellor will take this, and the thing will continue. Distinguished past President of NSC here, past Registrar of Koren, Fellows of the Society, and members, corporate members, as well as student members, young engineers, I want to sincerely stand on the protocol that have earlier been established. Good morning. I want to make a summary of what I'm going to speak on, and maybe at any time I'm called to the order, I will hands off. So if I didn't conclude, maybe I'll start with conclusion now, so that wherever I reach, you will say, oh, I have already given conclusion. So I will do a summary, but the summary I'm going to do is like a model. If you look at the setting of most of infrastructural development in the country, our politicians, governors, ministers, they are now used to demonstrating either inception of construction of a project or commissioning of the project. If you have paid particular attention of what happens during commissioning of project, after all the hula-bala of political demonstration, once they call the contractor or the engineer, there is one recurrent decimal you will always see. You will always see either a Chinese, a Lebanese, or a European coming to discuss about the construction. They are the ones that we are always hyping that they are doing the work. But most of us know quite all right that when we go deeply into some of these firms, you find out that the technical work are being done by Nigerians. But whenever it comes to who is in charge, who is leading, you will see Asians, Chinese. It is not only in Nigeria. I have been privileged to recently travel to a sister country, Uganda. And sorry, my president. And I find out that the Indians are doing like they are colonizing Uganda the second time. Sorry to say this. They are almost trying to make us look like we are second-class citizens. And I said, what's happening here? The hotel I stayed, Resort, I was stupefied. I say, what don't we have that these people have? And the discussion, or what the technical committee brought out, is actually what we need to interrogate. Leadership training for engineering, a key to sustainable practical development. Okay? We are going to look at how leadership, okay? So leadership has emerged as a critical competence for engineers, confronting 21st century challenges, such as climate change, technological disruption, rapid urbanization. While traditional engineering education emphasizes technical proficiency, achieving sustainable practical development requires integrating leadership skills that support innovation, ethics, strategic decision-making. This is where I think the gap exists. It doesn't require somebody from CCEC to be in charge of construction that is taking place in Abuja. In Abuja, it's almost on a monthly basis. 1 kilometer road, 1 span bridge, you see a white man. Once they call the contractor, a white man. Does he have the knowledge more than the locals? I feel bittered, though I watch it in the television. And some of you also do watch it. I don't know how we feel when we see them providing infrastructure in our villages. Is it that we don't have the technical competence? We do. We do. What we are missing is that with our people in the politics is the decision. And that is leadership that we are going to tackle. So this paper will examine the role of leadership training in driving sustainable engineering solutions in Nigeria and globally. It identified the key gaps in leadership development, limited integration of leadership into engineering curriculum, weak capacity building frameworks in industry, cultural and institutional barriers, and insufficient alignment with sustainability and technological trends. This paper will explore leadership models relevant to the engineering practice, including transformational, servant, and adaptive leadership, and highlight essential skills such as communication, strategic vision, innovation, ethics, and teamwork. Efforts by the Council for Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria, COREN, particularly the introduction of outcome-based education and the mandatory continual professional development, are recognized as significant steps towards embedding, curriculum reform. Academic industrial professional framework is proposed, focusing on curriculum reform, academic industry, professional partnership, leadership focus on CPD, and robust monitoring and evaluation. So leadership training is positioned as a catalyst for aligning engineering practice with United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, especially SDG 7, 9, 11, and 13. Let me control this. I know. I'm just giving a summary, like I said. So leave it where I am. I will run with that. Thank you. So this paper concludes with targeted recommendation and future research priorities, emphasizing that the strengthened leadership capacity is essential for achieving sustainable, resilient, and innovative engineering outcomes. Have you cut me off? Good. So we have talked about this. Leadership have emerged as a critical competency for engineers confronting the 21st century challenges such as climate change, technological disruption, and rapid urbanization. I will talk about effort by regulation of engineering in Nigeria current, particularly the introduction of the outcome-based education, like I said. Now, most of the time is that we say that our traditional curriculum is not actually incorporating much of leadership training among young engineers or engineering students. So, making them to continually dwell on professional development after graduating. So, Korean recently have improved on what we call BMAX. We call it benchmark minimum academic standard. That's what we are known to when we are doing the input-based training of engineering students. But this time around, recently, Codex members here, we talked about BMAP. These BMAPs now incorporated the professional standards into the curriculum. And in that place, we have very good percentage of entrepreneurship training, even when you are still a student. So we have gone beyond the BMAPs. We are now in BMAPs, benchmark minimum academic and professional standard. It is the new thing, a new standard now that we are using in engineering accreditation, program accreditation in universities. And I am sure deans of faculty of engineering this place are aware of this. So leadership efforts have been in this area. So background of leadership and beginning practice, traditionally engineers were trained primarily as technical problem solvers, focusing on design, construction, and maintenance of infrastructure. Okay, that is our training. That is why some of us in some of the corporate organizations, we only aim to become director of engineering. In fact, we will fight over to become director of engineering. Why a young accountant that entered today will go leadership training. Before you know it, you will be calling him my MD. My MD. And he will be in charge of your product. You are the one producing. And he will take over from you and be answering MD. You end up wearing overall in your 30 years service. And somebody will just come up and take over because of lack of what? Training. Leadership what? Training. He said, let the director of engineering, the generator is not working, call the director of engineering. We want to meet the governor, MD, governor is coming. So he have a good background to interact with policymakers while you are fighting with machines that will produce the product that he's relying on. Lack of training, leadership. So, if you look at Kai, so however, the modern engineering environment characterized by complex, multidisciplinary challenges that require not only technical expertise, but also strategic vision, ethical responsibility, and collaborative leadership. As you see the chart, you see the 21st century presents unique global challenges, including rapid urbanization, climate change, resource depletion, digital transformation, increased infrastructure demand. Addressing this requires engineering leaders who can operate effectively in uncertain and dynamic environment. The environmental, economic, and social dimension, leadership capacity becomes the indispensable in ensuring that solutions are both technically sound and socially responsible. So the concept of sustainable practical development in engineering context. Sustainable practical development refers to the application of engineering knowledge and leadership to design and implement solutions that meet present needs without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So leadership-oriented engineers are more likely to foster innovation, manage risk, and promote inclusive decision-making that enhances the sustainability of engineering outcomes. So problem statement, gaps in leadership, we have discussed about some of these gaps, and which, when this paper is downloaded to you, you will agree with me some of these gaps are something that we don't call anything, but we find out it is what is militating against the profession. So despite the growing recognition of leadership as a critical competency, many engineers still lack structured leadership training. Most engineering education programs are heavily weighted towards technical content, with minimal emphasis on leadership development. The gap leads to a workforce that is technically proficient, but may lack the strategic, organizational, and communication skills required to drive sustainable change. Similarly, many engineering organizations do not provide systematic leadership development programs, resulting in limited career progression for technical skill professionals who are not adequately prepared for leadership roles. These gaps present a significant barrier to achieving sustainable practical development in infrastructure, technology, and environmental management. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So, you have engineering leadership gap. So, objective of the paper, I have almost enumerated on these objectives. Whoever is in charge of this, please, can you run it? Because, thank you. So what the paper is aimed at is to examine the role of leadership, which I am trying to position. So analyze the relationship between leadership competencies and sustainable engineering practice, identify existing gaps in leadership training for engineers, explore relevant leadership models, and propose strategies for integrating leadership training into educational and professional development. How leadership contributes to achieving the sustainable development goals is also enumerated in this paper. I think my chairman, let this guy be doing this. It be like this one is taking enough energy from me. Okay? Let's go. Good. So, I have done about conceptual design, definition and principle of leadership in engineering. And leadership in engineering can be defined as ability to influence, guide, and inspire individual teams and organizations towards achieving common objectives while ensuring the delivery of technically sound, sustainable, and socially responsible solutions. Okay? Unlike leadership in a purely managerial or political context, engineering leadership is grounded in technical credibility, ethical responsibility, strategic vision, and the principle of effective engineering leadership include: 1, technical competence. Go on. Technical competence. Next slide, please. Ethical responsibility, collaborative and strategic foresight. Go on. Next slide. Adaptability. So you look at the principle. Go on. Let me see the figure. Principle of effective engineering. 1, technical competence. You need to have deep engineering knowledge, problem-solving skills, and trust through expertise. Secondly, you need ethical responsibility, integrity, safety, and impact responsibility, responsible decision-making. You need to collaborate, teamwork, communication, shared goals, cross-functional cooperation, 4, strategic foresight, 5, adaptability, and 6, innovation. Next slide, please. So, there is what I call nexus between engineering practice and leadership, engineering practice, leadership, and sustainable development. Engineering practice is fundamentally concerned with designing and implementing solutions that improve the quality of human life. Leadership is the catalyst that transforms technical solutions into sustainable societal impact. The nexus between engineering leadership and sustainable development lies in the capacity of engineering leaders to integrate environmental stewardship, economic viability, and social inclusion into project planning and execution. I want to give you a good model. Most of the firms, engineering firms, contractors, if you dig deep, it's not up to 20% of these firms are managed or funded by engineers. I want to give you an example. I reside in Kano for almost getting to 3 decades now, before I was temporarily shifted to Abuja. Bank accountants, those who have seen what engineering product can do, are coming out because of the managerial capability to set up engineering firms and employ engineers, young engineers, and pay them peanuts. You do the work. I have one good example of a bank accountant that left banking service.
My registrar, your time is up. Maybe I just give you 1-2 minutes to round up.
Thank you, Vice Chancellor. So what I'm trying to say, like I shared the model, you find out that the people who are deep in reaping our engineering products are the people who are outside what we call management teams, those who are going to university to do 4 years. Now we're talking that you go and do 6 years. And the person who did 4 years will come and manage you, use your brain to do the work, and collect the money and give you peanuts. And that is all the essence of leadership training that we need to inculcate. So we have looked at what we really need here. We talk about technical competence and credibility, ethical responsibility, collaborative engagement, strategic foresight, okay? We have models here. We have what we call transformational leadership model, servant leadership model, adaptive leadership, distributed leadership. The key skills that you need to have, and which is trending now in this age of artificial intelligence, AI, okay? You need communication, you need strategic thinking, ethics and integrity, you need teamwork and collaboration. We find out that most of the time, we fail to collaborate or form companies that we can put together our ideas and generate what we need. I think this paper, like I was told, will be given to every participant. So, because it is so long that I cannot finish all that I have here, and I don't want to actually disobey others. Madam President, you are welcome. I found out that we in Korea, we are doing a lot of things to move in this area. The CPD manuals, which we will use, the Nigerian Society of Engineers and the other professional organizations to ensure that it becomes a key component for ensuring yearly licensure, for each practicing engineer to improve you through continuous professional development. So in summary, or in conclusion, this paper establishes that leadership training is essential for engineers to address modern challenges such as climate change, urbanization, and technological disruption. Leadership enhances the translation of technical knowledge into sustainable solutions through strategic thinking, collaboration, and ethics. So in Nigeria, Council for Regulation of Engineering in Nigeria has advanced leadership integration through outcome-based education and mandatory CPD, laying a foundation for competence-driven professional development. So leadership training empowers training to lead innovation, manage complex projects, and align infrastructure development with United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Like we will say, goals 7 have to do with energy, goal 9, 11, and 13, among others. Please do get this copy of the paper to see much of the thing that time have not allowed me to discuss. Thank you, and God bless.
You are welcome. Don't go yet. Yes, there may be questions for you. I'd like to welcome Madam President. Can we just give her a round of applause for the great leadership she has provided in the last 2 years? Can we just appreciate the presenter? If we give her 1 hour, it will still not be true. It will still not be true. His paper, once again, is Leadership Training for Engineers, a Key to Sustainable Practical Development. Because we are going to interactive section now, that if you have questions, you can ask. Maybe in the next 10 to 15 minutes, if you you have any comments or contribution to make. But let me just recap what he said. Basically, that we all know, if we call it leadership 101, is that leadership is all about influence. You are influencing the thoughts, the values of people that are around you. He made a very cogent point that even in some of the firms and different places, how are people being paid? So whether we are actually, even though his emphasis was on these white people, but we have instances, projects where you don't have white people.
Mic check.
And then the question still is the right leadership being provided? Do people actually that are working with us want to take after us? That is when we are talking about leadership. Do they believe in our abilities? Are they encouraged? Are they willingly following us? Basically, when we are talking about leadership, those are the questions that should be answered. He spoke about these Nigerian engineers being given the opportunity for technical, to perform technical functions, but not leadership. But like I said, we have projects where you have the Nigerian is just in charge, and then there are still issues of leadership, not only when the white people are involved. But he made another cogent point, and that has to do with what Korean has been able to achieve. That before they have BMAS, but now they have what we refer to as BMAP, that they have now included or incorporated the professional content into what they have now. But the question again as we go on is what collaboration is between Korean, NSC, and NUC? Because all these agencies also have roles to play if we are talking about training, because he was talking at the training at the institution level. He also spoke about, beyond that one, he spoke about leadership training, which is even after you have left school. What are you doing with your leadership? Are people being exposed to training? Like we are here now in this conference. How many firms have sponsored people to be here and be part of what we are doing? Another very cogent point that I was able to raise was the need for strategic vision, ethical responsibility, and professional leadership. And I think that is very apt if we are talking about leadership. And he provided some leadership models. Incidentally, there was no time for him to be able to expatiate on that. But we now have the floor open to us. This is interactive. If I point at you, then you just make it so snappy, because we do not have the, okay, you have the microphone there. Then you introduce yourself, your name, where you work, and then if it's question, he will be noting the questions. And then if you want to make contributions, the floor is very open. Thank you.
I'm Engineer Francis A. Tafu, FNSE. Thank you very much, Prof, for your excellent delivery. I see you recommend a prescription for us on this leadership. I just want a distinction, and I want you to clarify two things. Because one option we take is to get certification by way of the Masters of Business Administration, for example, MBA. We go further to seek other accreditation in that guise. Now, I want to get your prescription right regarding our own professionalism. Is it a unique model you're recommending for us as engineers? And does it come with its own certification? Because at the end of the day, they see us with our bachelors of engineering, masters of engineering, probably a doctor of engineering. They don't see that training in you, even when you manifest it. So if somebody is looking at you as an engineer under their organization or in their organization, how would they distinguish that you have these qualities already, or they're engaging you in a position, expecting you to manifest that leadership qualities you are asking us to have, that will make us not just serve as technical professionals, but as leaders in our organizations, administratively. Because with the MBA, when they see you with your MBA, you present that document, even without manifesting anything, it is clear you have some training that will guide you as a leader. Now, what recommendation are you prescribing for us, and how do we have something that will back it up, that this person actually has gotten this training and he has this competency? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. We will wait all through. It will now take everything together to save time. Then go to this side. Yes, give him the microphone. Sorry, we are coming to this side shortly.
My name is Engineer Bashir Lawal. Well, from experience, you find out that in any organizations, especially constructing our contracting firm, engineers is rated to be the highest. But when we get to the field, because of this lack of leadership, especially technical one, the one that are under us, they always underrate us. So I think this leadership training should not be limited to outside the university training. It should be incorporated into part of the program. Then two, in Nigerians, most of the construction firm or even consultancy, they are based on individual entities. There is no collaborations. And leadership is not only one-man business. You need collaborations. And that is the area I want current NUC to please take note that most of the products from the university, most of them are theoretical engineers. When it comes to the site, most of them don't fit in. You start training again. Train them technically, train them leaderships one. So I'm now suggesting that current should please link up with NUC to make sure that the bread that are coming from the universities are something that are productive in the field. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Maybe we take one more. Let's go to that side. Take the microphone to that side. Sorry, we may not be able to take everyone. Yes, just go to that. Okay, thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Presenter. Thank you very much for your presentation. My name is Engineer Morakinyo Adesulu, FNSC. We have an equivalent of MBA, which is Masters in Engineering Management. What are we doing to position this course to be able to take a lead in the industry? Because I believe the way the MBA is fashioned is the way the Master of Engineering Management is also fashioned. And how do we also take this engineering management as an important part of our academic curriculum, right from the undergraduate level till we get to the postgraduate level? I think when we're talking about leadership, it is not only when you get out of the school. It starts right from the rudiments. This is just my own question. How do we take the engineering management and equivalent it with MBA?
Okay. You have the floor now.
Hello. Thank you. These are great questions and good questions, and some of them actually, when you go through the whole papers, you get most of the questions. As for Engineer Itafo that was talking about certification, yes, certification is very key, and I don't want us to dwell on certification. When you call for something, short courses, very vital in engineering training. But don't dwell much in getting papers. In one of the model I was showing in the paper is about mentorship, engineering mentorship. You learn a lot. If you see what recently the Harvard University is talking about, the local apprenticeship format of Igbo apprenticeship something, you find out that they find some hidden, concept that to us is too local. That thing you call too local, you may have gained most of the experience without being satisfied. And we say this person has native intelligence, whatever you want to color it. But if it is an European that brought it, you call it, that is the 21st century intelligence. But when I bring it from my own idea, you say my own is native intelligence. I don't want us to begin to be hard on ourselves. We appreciate the certification we are doing. Recently, Koren with NIBRI and CFISIN, we did what we call forensic training, for collapsed structures in Lagos. Many people participated, okay? Koren is not actually to engage in this training. Like I always tell them, I say, look, I don't practice engineering under Koren. I only regulate engineering. So I will only make provision, create an enabling environment for NSC, for NATE, for NICET, for NIEC to go into the training. The president and the incoming president of NSC was telling me, what is the position of CPD? I said, I am not going to do the training. It is only to say, this company, we have approved it for the training. And you carry on with the syllabus. Let's see the syllabus, and I want to tell you, we will match on with it. So the certificate, like you are saying, will be recognized. Whatever. Recently, we have the BPP Director General. He said, when we went to collaborate, when he was asking, one of the directors said, our own EcoPass is too cheap. We need to do what? Improve it. And Korean have set up a committee, and they are working to finishing stages to improve on our EcoPass. That is very important. So that when you go and do engineering work, you'll be appropriately remunerated. Okay? On the issue of some of our engineering graduates not fitting into today's jobs by industries, even in industrial arts. I don't want us also to believe that our universities are not doing great. They are doing great. If you want to know whether our products are doing great, when they graduate and you give them third class, when they go to do masters in London, in Europe, you will find that nobody sees their back. So what happens? How? The person you say is not well trained, will be doing better. So I think you should recognize that our universities are doing a lot of things to bring in young engineers, okay? So the outcome-based engineering education is quite different from the input. Those who have graduated from outcome-based education will definitely be better than the input-based. So I guarantee you that the new BMAPs have taken into consideration some of the industrial needs, and the graduate will be better. MBA in engineering management is okay, but when you do engineering management, it's not what Korean actually registers. Okay, engineering management is not what Korean registers. It's very important and very needful, but you know that Korean only registers first degree. That's what the law says. Any other thing we combine to make the first degree, and it's equivalent of first degree. That's what Korean does. So all the questions are in line, but know that we have gone above some of these things. And I bet you when you get the full paper, you will see some of the things I've proposed. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you, and thank you. We cannot thank you enough. You have done a lot of justice to the paper, and there's no way we can conclude this discussion here. I want to believe that at different levels as we leave this conference, we should continue to engage ourselves.
Exactly.
I want to appreciate all of us for our contributions and the rapt attention as we go to another session. Thank you very much.
I should be given okay, presidential handshake.
Please,
Yeah, you will.
please, a round of applause for them. A round of applause for the presenter and the moderator. Thank you. May I now invite the president of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Engineer Margaret Aino Oguntala, FNSC. Please applaud Madam President as she comes up to make a presentation.
That was a great one.
Thank you.
When professors are talking.
Well, before I do, let me just say a few things. Good morning, everyone. I just told him, that it's not possible for me not to give him a presidential handshake after the great performance. Could you all please give him another round of applause? And I'd like to confirm that the NSC is working closely with Koren to develop the CPD. The continuing professional development points will be used by Koren for the renewal of license. And the divisions, the institutions under NSC are the ones that will administer the training that is required to get the CPD points. So now I'm calling on our institutions. Please get your acts together. Let us develop the syllabus that is necessary for Koren to certify. And then we can run with the CPD points and we'll be able to compare ourselves more favorably with the global standards. So having said that, I have the honor now. I'm going to call up stage one of my predecessors who is here, President 2014-2015, Engineer Ademola Isaac Olorunfemi, FNSC FANG, to join me in presenting the award to the speaker, while I also give him the presidential handshake.
It's my pleasure for the picture.
They will now have a group photograph while we move to the next technical session 2. If you have the brochure, the program of events, we are now on page 46. Please let us appreciate Madam President and our past president. Thank you. So the next session continues immediately, technical session 2, and the theme of focus is investments in marine infrastructure, policy and governance, and skill development for sustainable blue economy. And I will now invite the moderator who will take over from here, and then we shall have this session in 1 hour. May I invite Engineer Uchechi Edosonwa, FNSE, Deputy General Manager, Head, Economics Communication, Department, Nigerian Airspace Management Agency, Lagos. A round of applause for her.
Good morning, the distinguished President of Nigerian Society of Engineers, Engineer Margaret Aino Oguntala, FNSE. Kindly permit me to stand on all existing protocols. Please, my department is electronic communications. We're the ones that make sure you fly safely from point A to point B. All right, so you're welcome to the second technical sessions of the conference. As we've already been informed, the session will be looking at investment in marine infrastructure, policy and governance, and skills development for sustainable blue economy. The rapporteurs are Engineer Professor Folarin Alonge, FNSE, Engineer Dr. Joseph Ona Obata, FNSE, Engineer Professor Christy Ijabwemi, FNSE, and Engineer Professor Kamilu F.K. Oyedeko, MNSE. All right, looking at the topic, I'm sure you will agree with me that these three sub-themes are like the three legs of a stool, which are needed for balance. Policy and governance frameworks create an enabling and operating environment to attract investments that will unlock the economic potential of the blue economy. However, this must be matched with relevant skills, which gift the blue economy with the capacity needed for sustainability. I'm glad we finished one of those relevant skills, which is the leadership skills. So during the paper presentations, we'll find out what and how this trio can become pillars to establish a sustainable blue economy. The questions you ask or contributions you will make after the paper presentations will generate more clarity from presented thoughts, so that we can arm ourselves with actionable knowledge. Please, let's welcome the first speakers to the podium. The paper one is on investment opportunities and funding mechanisms for blue economy. Will be presented by Etuk Akaneyeni Udo, MNSE, Harmony Nnenamwobodo Nzaribe, MNSE, and Francis A. Okoye, MNSE. Please, can you please come up? Please come up. Are we around? Should I move to the next paper? Okay, you're coming up. Please put your hands together for him. Please, can you put your hands together? Thank you very much. Please, you have just 10 minutes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good morning, everybody. The President of Nigerian Society of Engineers, please permit me to stand on the Zoom protocol to assess my freedom. Okay. I'm presenting on what I title Investment Opportunities and Funding Mechanisms. The blue economy is a virgin economy as far as Nigeria is concerned. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu just created the Marine and Blue Economy Ministry about 2 years ago. And for me, that was an intentional act to unlock the sector. And secondly, the construction of Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway is another intentional investment that has unlocked the blue economy subsector of our economy. So this morning we are going to see what are the primary investment components and how can we finance, what are the investment platforms that funds can be assessed to finance this investment. Most of the states in the coastal shoreline of Nigeria, as of today, like Lagos, Akwa Ibom, Rivers State, Bayelsa, have invested so much. Like Lagos, I think, has invested about $410 million to unlock the economic sector of the blue economy. And many other states, like Bayelsa State, has just created a Ministry of Blue Economy. The Akwa Ibom State Governor, Governor Moino, who happened to be my governor, has invested so much in the Iron waterfront. He has built a lot of infrastructure to unlock the investment component of the blue economy. The blue economy, as we know, like I said, is a virgin economy, comes with a lot of opportunities. But for the context and for the purpose of this paper, I choose to define a blue economy as an embedded ecosystem that depends solely on nature. An embedded ecosystem that depends solely on nature, that has multiple channels of investment, that gives a huge return to an investor. So if you choose to invest in a blue economy, there are a lot of components that will help you accelerate your investment. For example, the next slide, please. We look at what are the types of investment, like we've talked about Lagos, Bayelsa, River State, and recently there was a Blue Economy Investment Conference in Bayelsa State that was hosted by Niger Delta University that tried to unlock those areas that will help us invest our funds. And there's a lot of types of investment. You have a government-backed scheme, you have market-link investment, you have hybrid plan, fixed investment option, retirement and pension scheme, and all that. Now, what is an investment in the context of this economy as we are talking about? Who is an investor? An investor can be you, investor can be me. It depends on what kind of investment you want to apply. Like you have there, we have something like the personal investors, you have angel and venture capitals that are being applied to start up companies to unlock those ideas, those innovations that will generate sustainable development at the end of the day. Now, in Iron waterfront, where we are doing our research, there's what we call the hidden layer investors. These are the people that are making waves now in the economic subsector. Who are the hidden investors? They are the people that collect funds from source, and they invest it and determine the market value of such products. So if you want to invest, especially in Akwa Ibom State, where you have their own waterfront that has been renewed with a lot of marine infrastructures, you can act as a hidden layer investor, where you collect funds. It's not going to be your funds. The person that invests, maybe most of the venture capital that are coming to invest on it, will give you these funds for you to determine the market value of what comes out of the market. And that is what we call market link investment. Next slide, please. Now, what is a financial mechanism? We talk about investment opportunity and financial mechanism. The financial mechanism is a system comprising forms, methods, and instruments that facilitate the flow, allocation, management of money and capital within an economy or for a specific programs or project. The primary purpose is just to connect surplus funds. And when you talk about if you look at something like pension funds, for me, pension fund is a surplus fund that can be applied into the blue economy subsector to unlock the sector. You have other surplus funds like insurance funds. Those are areas where you have surplus funds. So for us to unlock this sector, we need to assess these funds, that have been domiciled in most of these areas. And now, the enactment of a national policy on marine and blue economy is another intentional act by the federal government to unlock the investment components that are there in the blue economy subsector. Like you have the Calabar Coastal Highway. The Calabar Coastal Highway taken from Lagos to Calabar. When that road finally comes to a conclusion, what we are calling blue economy today will be something that will attract foreign-based investment, foreign-based investors that will come to invest in our in our coastal shoreline. You know, because if you look at the next slide, please. If you look at the map of Nigeria, where you have the coastal shoreline from Lagos to Calabar, you understand that if that route, when it comes to fulfillment at the final day, will be what is going to unlock what we are talking today as a virgin land of investment. Because blue economy is a virgin land that is yet to be tapped. Now, what are the major areas? What are the major areas of this investment? Let us look at major areas of investment. Please move to the next slide, please. Because of my time, move to the next slide. What are the major areas of investment? Let us look at the major areas of investment where we can invest our money, where we can invest our capital, where we can invest our capital. Key investment component areas. Move to the next slide. We've already talked about this. If you look at from Lagos to Calabar, yeah, move to the next one. Let's go to the investment area where we can invest our capital. Move. Go on, because of time. Yes, stop here. These are the key investment components of the blue economy. You have marine transport, you have fishing, most of these must have been treated. You have the aquaculture, oil and gas exploration, you have coastal and marine tourism, you have marine biotechnology, renewable ocean and ecosystem. And now there are certain where you want to invest. There are certain things that will guide an investment. There are factors. If you remember when we were in secondary school, they say factor of what? Location of industries. If you're a very good economic student those days, I was not very good in economics. As a scientist, I didn't do it very well. But when you look at what are the reasons that will attract somebody to invest in Nigerian blue economy, if you go to section C of the slides, you have quality of life. Throughout the coastal shoreline, you have very fine quality life. You have economic security and potential stability that will give you that enablement to invest. You have skilled labor. We have skilled labor in the coastal shoreline. You have ease of doing business in Nigeria. I think it takes you for now, it takes you 2-3 days to register a company. If you go to Corporate Affairs Commission, ease of doing business is ranked as one of the Nigeria today, despite insecurity, is ranked one of the best countries of doing business. And now accessibility, and if you look at most of the coastal states, from Lagos to Calabar, I think they have international airport. The one in Akwa Ibom have just been upgraded to international status. Please, can you put our hands together for that development, please? Thank you very much. The one in Calabar has just been upgraded to Akwa Ibom has just been upgraded to international status. So, if you look at the coastal shoreline, the states in the coastal shoreline, you find out that the accessibility, you can access any of the states, you can access any of the shoreline from anywhere in the country, from anywhere in the world. Lagos has an international airport. Calabar has. Port Harcourt. I think most of them, like Bayelsa, they have also an airport, Calabar there and all that. So the accessibility is 100%. You know. Now let us look at what are the investment mechanism, what are the possible investment mechanism, financial mechanism that will help us invest in these possible components that we've just mentioned. Table 2 gives us a summary of those investment platform that one can help that will help us invest. Like when you talk about public budget, like is one of the most primary investment template that will help us invest. Public budget has to do with government backed. Like we talk about government backed scheme, like collection of taxes and all that. Collection of tariff. Those are to enable sustainable development. Those will be done maybe into when you look at tourism. Payment of visa fees and all that. Those are where you will bring up the public budget. And you have what we call the official development assistance. And that is from bilateral and multilateral cooperation like World Bank, African Union and all that. Those are areas, or mostly there's what we call global environmental facility. One of the funds that is being used in supporting marine ecosystem investment. And you also have impact-only investment. Is another funds. You have bonds, you have debt financing. Some countries can do what we call debt buyback, and we now call it nature debt. they give it to a third party to buy it back and all that. You have public, private sector partnership. And most important of recent is what we call seed investment.
Please, you have just a minute. Thank you, sir. Just a minute.
Seed investment is something that is being provided to technological startup in the blue economy sector, especially in Nairobi waterfront. A lot of guys are doing a lot of innovations there, and they have been provided with a seed investment to the tune of 10 million, 15 million by the government. Now, what are my conclusions? My conclusion: for a steady flow of investment, there should be parallel and steady inflow of financial resources to advance and support blue economy business model. Enactment of policies that drive sustainable development. Nigerian blue economy funds should be established to unlock the hidden layer of the ocean activities. My recommendation is regular dialogue, forums among stakeholders, formation of cooperative societies, generating investment case studies, among others. Thank you very much, and God bless all of us.
Thank you very much, sir. Please put your hands together once again. He was able to finish in record time. Thank you, sir. Please be writing your questions and making note of your contributions. We'll come up with that after all the papers have been presented. And so the second paper is on technologies, education, and skill development for a sustainable blue economy in Nigeria. Please put your hands together for Akaneyeni Edet Ekong. Please put your hands together. Thank you very much. As he quickly comes. Maybe he's slow because you're not clapping. Could you please clap for him? Thank you, sirs. Thank you, Mars. So please, you have just 10 minutes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sorry. Yeah. Thank you very much, moderator. Good morning, Madam President, distinguished colleagues. I'm elated to have the opportunity to speak to us engineers on the topic emerging technologies, education, and skills development for a sustainable blue economy. Can we have the slides? Okay. All right, thank you very much. Oh, beautiful. Thank you. That's better. That's better. So the global blue economy is transforming rapidly. We have port, fisheries, marine transport, offshore energy, environmental protection. All these are now shaped by evolving technologies such as AI, robotics, automation, satellite, surveillance, robotics, and low carbon fuels. Next slide, please. So I'll be since I have 10 minutes, we'll just take you straight to the key approach, the research approach, please. Next slide, please. So the blue economy is referred to the sustainable use of ocean and coastal resources for economic growth, improved livelihood, and ecosystems. It goes beyond traditional maritime industries like fishing, emergency sectors such as renewable ocean, biotechnology, etc. It goes beyond all that. Next slide, please. Aha. I see a smile on your faces. So this is our captain. Before now, the maritime industry has been going on haphazardly sort of, but then again, the captain intentionally brought about the policy on the blue economy, but also by setting up the Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy, established by our president. I think he deserves a round of applause, because without him, we would not have this team. So we have a territorial sea of about 12 nautical miles and a contiguous zone of about 24 nautical miles as our exclusive zone. And our maritime zone extends from Dakar to Luanda and is influenced by the Gulf of Guinea. We have a strategic place here in Nigeria, and we have a role to play regarding that. Next slide, please. Next slide. Okay. So we carried out, a research was carried out looking at checking out for the degree of knowledge and skills amongst Nigerian stakeholders and investigating the significance of new technologies for sustainable blue economy. Using descriptive statistics, percentages, frequencies, responses using a Likert scale. The participation was voluntary, leveraging on our contacts in the marine and blue economy. Please, next slide, please.
All right. So we looked at key aspects like education and skill development in emerging technologies, and we got results on the table depicted, showing us the skills gaps and what we need to update. Next slide, please. So as we look at education and skill development, we ask ourselves, why does technology actually matter? The emerging technologies in the marine and blue economy actually help us to solve old problems, but solving these old problems in new ways. In new ways by having smart ports with automation and digital platforms which reduce delays, improve safety, and cut emissions at our ports. Especially if you look at the example of Rotterdam Port with the Internet of Things technology being put into play. Smart technologies like ocean sensors, drones, and satellite data help us monitor pollutions and protect fisheries and respond faster to marine emergencies. You do agree with me that we have marine emergencies, and some could be safety inclined and some could be security. But then again, our response rate is solely dependent now on technology. Incorporating all these new technologies that are coming up, satellite surveillance and the rest, helps us to reduce our response time and nip any issue in the board, be it the safety issue or be it a security emergency. Then we also have new fuels like LNG, all right, LNG, methanol, hydrogen. All this push the narrative towards having a green economy, green shipping, green logistics. Next slide, please. All right. So we also have results on cooperation and institutional support, showing us input from universities, the incorporation of new technologies through the blue economy, which is basically encouraged by government policies. For instance, the government's policy on the marine and blue economy, recently approved by the federal government. Next slide, please. Let's move ahead for the results. Let's go to discussion. Now, this study revealed that there's high knowledge among stakeholders on emerging blue economic technologies, and our stakeholders are moderately familiar with remote sensing, satellite monitoring, and there's common knowledge about utilization of offshore renewable energy. However, we have a dearth of studies to back up these findings. But then again, it's a new field which has been brought up, and with time we're going to have more research on that, because of course you all know that data is key. All right. Then the use of marine biotechnology in Nigeria is still relatively new. However, there's a great potential to contribute significantly to economy, research, and development finance, which the last speaker also mentioned. However, again, there's a room for sustainable growth via the use of new technologies, sustainable practices, and development of new marine-based products and services. If we look at the skill gaps based on this study, the skill gaps, across Africa and particularly in Nigeria, we still face critical gaps. We need more talent in areas such as hydrography, marine geoinformative systems, data analytics, mechatronics, cybersecurity, and environmental monitoring. The traditional maritime training alone cannot support the pace of technological advancements. So we need to move with times, we need to move with the change. If we must harness the full value of our ocean potentials, we must modernize how we train people. Because currently we have a weak synergy between government, industry, and the academia, and also outdated maritime curricula, which indeed we need to work on. And also, Scoren is encouraged to look into that aspect as well. Now, for skills development, 3 categories of skills are required. 3 key categories of skills are required to be a player in the marine and blue economy. Digital and smart port skills, automation, sensor systems, robotics and blockchain logistics, green maritime competencies like carbon accounting, ballast water control, and the use of alternative fuels. Then for safety and technical skills, which is very dear to me, handling of hazardous chemicals, hazardous goods, LNG handling, offshore renewable energy, and emergency response. These are skills that will drive a resilient blue economy. Next slide, please. So, in rethinking education and training, we need to deliver these skills. We must rejig our training ecosystem for us to deliver these skills to our people. So looking at technical and vocational education, this is very mandatory. It should include modules on marine mechatronics, drone operations, smart fisheries, and port system maintenance. Then our universities are encouraged to adopt multidisciplinary curricula that combines ocean science with engineering, digital tech, and sustainability. There's another model we can use, creating centers of excellence in our universities. Centers of excellence that look at digital port, marine environmental technology, and offshore renewable energy. This will also help our pursuit to ensure the skills gap is closed in the marine and blue economy. We must also embrace modern training tools. Virtual reality simulations, digital laboratories, and AI-enabled learning platforms are key for the marine and blue economy. Next slide, please. So the study here reviewed that there's a need for private partnership on marine technology, okay? And also, the present study also revealed that there are low levels of developed skills, which I believe, with an intentional pursuit, we can close out on those skills. Next slide, please. Okay. The full paper and slides, I believe, will make up part of the documentation that will be given to us in the book of proceedings, so you can have a deep dive there. So I'm just talking about the preliminary aspects, so you get a feel of what it's all about. So for the research outcomes, we're talking about incorporation of advanced technologies, which is limited, and vocational and education being inadequate. These are some gaps that we need to close. Inclusion of inclusive programs emphasizes the importance of collaboration, which we mentioned earlier, that there should be a synergy between the academia and the industry and government, all right? So regarding the inclusion of youth, inclusion of women, and innovation, we found out that we have a teeming youth population, but then again, we need to be intentional in bringing their interest into the field, because the blue economy can be a major employer of young people if we build the right pathways. If, for instance, look at the Philippine model. Hardly an offshore-going vessel will you find without a Filipino on board. Mariners, you know. We have over 600,000 seafarers, which are Filipinos all over the world. And for my engagement with some of them that are my friends on vessels, it's an intentional government policy to get them trained, to get them certified, and to also even provide a vessel where they can have their sea time experience. The government does that. So you go to any ocean-going vessel, any vessel at all, you will definitely find a Filipino there. So for us as a country, we need to be intentional in looking at our seafarers, our cadets, to ensure that when they get trained, they should have the placement in vessels, starting with experience in our coastal waters. Women also should be actively supported to enter careers in marine engineering, ocean science, and port technology. Then the aspect of startups, we must nurture marine startups, working on smart aquaculture, coastal monitoring, and digital mapping. So we look at marine biotechnology, for instance, as part of the pillars of the blue economy, climate change and mitigation, ocean energy. There's so much resource in that aspect, harnessing wave and tidal and offshore wind energy, and clean alternative fossil fuels. Coastal tourism. The last speaker talked about the hub in Akwa Ibom concerning at Oron, for instance, and many other aspects. Nigeria is blessed with marine resources. And then again, we expect people to
Please,
come
can you conclude?
And,
thank you, sir.
And visit these choice places. So emerging technologies, as a summary, are AI, big data, predictive analytics for fisheries and climate modeling, and not only for fisheries and climate modeling, for maintenance regimes on our vessels. If you use AI and predictive modeling, you can now know when to carry out servicings on your equipment, which equipment will be obsolete. It helps in obsolete management. Marine robotics, underwater drones help for exploration and surveillance. Satellite imaging, this speaks to the security aspects. Congratulations to us, Nigeria, that we've been elected into the category C of the IMO. With this comes some responsibilities and better recognition for Nigeria. But then again, we could also actually narrow down those international standards to reflect our peculiarities for our environment. In conclusion, please, ultimately, Technology alone will not deliver a sustainable blue economy. People will. If we equip our workforce, train them, we can actually develop the competence required for a sustainable blue economy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Later, I'll charge you for the extra time. All right, so the paper 3, remember you're writing your questions. Policy and Governance of the Blue Economy, a case study of Lagos State job creation and environmental management of marine life, to be delivered by Ogunbajo Abdul Hakim B. and Akamu James O. Please let us know which of you is delivering. Thank you very much. Please put your hands together. It's like this side, we're not clapping. Can we put our hands together, please? Thank you.
Yes, good morning, everybody. My name is Ogunbajo Ebi. I'm presenting on behalf of myself and Engineer Professor Akamu James. So the discussion today is on policy and governance of the blue economy, a case study of Lagos State for job creation, environmental management, and marine life. The state, which is Lagos State, was considered because it's a hub for the government and Nigeria as a whole. When we look at Lagos State, despite not being the state capital, we still have that most of the activities that goes on in the country are dependent on Lagos. Next slide. So we look at the blue economy. Blue economy is one of the SDG goals number 14, and it has 10 targets. And targets are as listed, mostly is to take care to protect the marine environment, create jobs, make small-scale fishing, and enforce international sea laws. So in these areas, we want to look at those areas that will affect the marine life protection and creating jobs, and also protecting the marine life in general. How has Lagos State government failed in this area? Next slide. So the state, at a glance, the population is always increasing, and by 2050, according to the United Nations, Lagos State is going to 300 million by 2050. It generates about 25% of the country's GDP at the moment, and is contributing seriously to the job creation and wealth creation for the nation. Next slide. So one of the challenges that comes around with the protection of the marine life is the emission of the carbon dioxide due to human activities. And by status, 30 to 40% of this carbon dioxide find their way absorbed by the water bodies. Meaning that for us to protect the water bodies, we need to have the carbon emission reduced. Otherwise, most of the animals, their shells will be destroyed when the pH goes high. Next slide. So the blue economy, as contained in the 10 points, generally has to do with getting potentials for wealth creation, investment and income from inland waterways, rural urban migration, for us to have people moving towards the rural area rather than staying in the urban areas, and to also encourage extended fishing, cage culture for fish on the lagoon itself. And eventually, when we move more people from the urban area to the rural area, we get values for properties that are there. Next slide. So Lagos State government also have done so much, because one of the theme of the Lagos State government for the state governor, the H there stands for health and environment. And they created last week to monitor and encourage research in these areas, such that the issue of climate change, food security, water conservation, and flood management will be looked at. And that is ongoing. I think this is the third year. Last week is always calling for research in this area. Next slide. So also Lagos state government has also invest seriously in the Lag Ferry. That is, they have fleets of ships and small boats to convey people from the inland areas from Ikorodu, Ibeshe, Ebute to Lagos Island and to Lekki area. So they have done so much in this area also, and in terms of commuting passengers using the marine environment. Next slide. The Lagos State Ministry of Environment and Water Resources is the hub for coordinating this affair in Lagos, and they have so many other ministries working under them. That is the Ministry of Agric, providing infrastructure for the fishermen, the physical planning and urban development, also monitoring the development of structures in the shores of the marine, and we also have the Lagos Water Waste Management Office, the LASWAMO, and they have been also working tirelessly to ensure that untreated waste, don't just get to the waterways directly. And we have the paper also monitoring that. Next slide. So this research was carried out by getting visitation, multiple times visitation to all these focus areas. Those areas that has to do to contribute to the blue economy in Lagos. That is the waterfronts where we have human activities, the sawmillers. The new sawmill has been taken to Agua Ikosi from Okobaba, and it's a deliberate attempt also to ensure the protection of the marine water body in Lagos mainland, because the human activity of the people working around the sawmill at Okobaba is contributing seriously to the degradation of the marine, because they usually throw away their waste and defecate directly into the water. But as at now, they've been moved to Agbowa Ikosi, and the government provided residential houses, offices, stores, water, and so many facilities for those market people to move from Lagos to Agbowa. And thereafter, it has created the urban-rural migration, meaning that properties around Agbowa Ikosi Mota now is now more highly valued than before, because we have a large number of people that have moved to that houses. Also, local dredging services were also visited around Lagos, Badagry, Epe, Ikorodu, and so on. So, after the ignorance of it, then we did the questionnaire. Next slide. The questionnaire was done twice for accuracy. We have to do a pilot study, take answers for your questions, and now remodel for a second-time application. And we put the sections of the questionnaire into three. We have the demography of people that contributed, the stakeholder engagement and policy, and the local context. And we have about 7 major areas that were discussed in that questionnaire to observe what people think about the blue economy and the performance of Lagos State government in terms of job creation and wealth creation and protecting the marine life. Next slide. Next slide, this is just the demography. Next slide. Yes, talking about the discussion, generally it was seen that the state has not ventured into the offshore wind energy in terms of tapping into the blue economic policy. So most of the areas that are visited, there is no tapping into the energy sector coming from the blue. That is the wind energy that could be used. In terms of clearing the water hyacinth, the state is trying its best, but so many areas still have this water hyacinth on the water, but particularly this Agbowa Ikosi where they are the timber farm, and is disturbing the market people from bringing their log to the market, and they have to be going on the water to move their log manually because the waterway is not very clear. So talking about the protection of the water body, People also believe that state government needs to do more in terms of implementing the wastewater protection management plan. Though Lagos has some wastewater treatment plants around Lagos at Yanopaja, Ojota, and so on, but we can see that some of them are not in good order and they need to provide more. And aside that, there are still some people that still put their wastewater directly to the ocean, particularly from those areas in Bariga, Shomolu, even Lagos Island. When you walk around the marina area, you just have the smell. And you know that these untreated wastes are still being directly pushed into the lagoon without proper treatment. Next slide. So looking at the key sectors that Lagos government has actually performed very well in the past few years, based on the investment, the state government has performed excellently in terms of providing water transport infrastructure. These jetties, you have jetties, modern jetties around in Lagos, in Island, in Ikorodu, in Badagry areas. We have modern jetties that is encouraging people to move freely on the water. And they also have invested in the water carriers. So these are the two areas they have invested much and slightly on deep sea mining.
Please, you just have a minute to go. Just a minute, sir.
Okay, so we can move on, The tables are explanatory. Next slide. Yes, these are talking about the rural migration and the effect that will have on those. And what do people really want from the government in terms of support for the private investment to also go into this business? One of those things that we have seen in conclusion is that the blue economy is a concept that the government is aware of by the way they have been implementing it with the ministries, but most people, even people working in that focus area, are not aware. Most of the time when you ask from the questionnaire, do you understand what blue economy is? Almost 90%, except the government official at Laswamu and Laswa that are informed. Other people in the industry or in the private sector are not aware. So the government needs to do more awareness on this. Next slide. So summarily, the conclusion is that the state is aware. They are putting in efforts in terms of water structure, infrastructure, in terms of the wastewater management, but they need to do more. Doing more means that they need to provide more modern wastewater treatment plants around Lagos because to reduce the effect. They also need to do a platform for the private sector to be involved in this development. And one of those ways is to provide enabling environment for them. One of the key problems that was observed during the visitation was that most of the waterfronts do not have a good road to the waterfronts. They need good road, they need electricity to perform, and they also need the infrastructure for them to invest into it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Maybe I need suggestions. What should I charge anyone that exceeds the time? You said what? No, it has to be something that comes to me, you know. All right, thank you so much. You know, the results he's come up with shows areas that the investments can be done and the skills can be developed. You understand? That's the link. All right, so we have the fourth presenter. It's going to be application of nanomaterials in the remediation of polluted marine oil fields for promoting environmental sustainability in Nigeria. It's an overview, so I'm sure he will keep to time. Hans for Boma. Please put your hands together. Come up, please. Please put your hands together. Let's encourage them. Thank you. I'm sure you'll keep to 10 minutes.
Good morning, Mr. President and other distinguished people here. On a lighter note, the MC said that people who overstay should charge them. So I am not going to expend my time, so I will charge you. Thank you. I'm going to be talking about application of nanomaterials in the remediation of polluted marine oil fields for promoting environmental sustainability in Nigeria. It's an overview, no much empirical evidence to back it. It's just an eye-opener so that researchers can go into their research rooms and do further research. Introduction, we have always known that there can never be oil exploration and exploitation without attendant consequences for the environment by way of oil spill and the likes. So, please, slide 4. Go to slide 4. Is that slide 4? The slides are numbered. Please, can you check? Is that slide 4? No, go ahead. Just tell them. Okay. No, but that is not slide 4. Okay, specific objectives. The paper tries to explore the current situation of marine oil pollution in Nigeria, and then it will reflect on the implication of adopting nanomaterials for environmental sustainability. I want to give you time. Go to slide 7. The slides are numbered.
So tell them. Please, can you help control the slides for him?
The slides are numbered so that we'll save time. I have numbered my slide. I have jumped some other slides that are not relevant. Go to slide 7.
So should they move
I have
forward?
slide 7, 8, 11, 12, 13, and 16. And by the time I'm done with them,
advise them. Go forward. Next slide. Next slide. You
okay,
know
next
your
slide.
paper. Yeah.
But since I don't, okay. What I will do, let me use the one I have in here to save time.
10 minutes.
It is not working. Don't worry. Okay, I'll use slide 7.
So he says go to slide 4.
Now, the methodology, like I said earlier on, it's a descriptive and comparative approach that we adopted. We went to the field and then we got data, but the data is not large enough to make an assertion. So our findings, we found out that the Niger Delta, the hub of oil production in Nigeria, faces environmental degradation and frequent oil spills caused by, 1, aging infrastructure, good, poor maintenance, go back. Aging infrastructure, poor maintenance, deliberate pipeline vandalism from the locals, sabotage from the locals, which is, I think, it constitutes more than 50% of the problem of oil spillage in Nigeria from the data that we got. And then the spread of unregulated modular refineries. Modular refineries, which they call illegal refineries, but I don't think that there's any word like illegal refinery, because if you said there's illegal refinery, it also means that there's a legal refinery. They are actually unregulated refineries. And then, next slide, you can see the effect of pollution in the Niger Delta. You can see the people using their canoe to move in that polluted water. And you can see the effect on the agricultural produce there. I think, which one? Next slide, slide 11. Go to slide 11. Okay. We will look at the potential of using nanomaterials-based remediation techniques for oil spillage. Traditionally, it has been the traditional method of cleaning spillage. That one is time-consuming. It is time-consuming, it is very expensive, and it is not environmentally friendly because you have to use some chemicals that would also affect the ecosystem. So we are looking at a situation where nanomaterials can be used in cleaning pollution. And they can be used by way of adsorption, photocatalysis, or magnetic recovery. Next slide. And that's a table of a comparison between the traditional remediation method and the nano-based material method. Like I said, the traditional method, skimmers, booms, dispersants, and bioremediation are used. I want to talk about dispersants. These dispersants are like, they are like detergent. They react with water, with oil to break the bonds. And at the end of the day, while you are cleaning the oil pollution, you are also causing another problem for the ecosystem. And then if you look at the nanomaterial remediation, it is faster, and it is cheaper, and it is more efficient. Next slide. Yes, the different types of the different types of nanomaterials used for cleaning oil spill. You have the carbon-based nanomaterial, the magnetic nanomaterial, the silica-based nanomaterial, polymer-based nanomaterial, bio-based nanomaterial, and metal oxide nanomaterials. These are different types of nanomaterials that can be used for oil cleanup. And then the implication, like I've said earlier on, using nanomaterials has a lot of advantages over the traditional method. Next slide. Next slide. Okay. Conclusion. Like we know, the Niger Delta suffers severe oil pollution, like I said in the introduction, from oil spills due to several reasons, vandalism and the rest. But, we also know that using the traditional method of cleaning oil pollution is expensive and it is not very, very eco-friendly. So the use of nanomaterial is a new field that should be explored in oil spill cleaning. Recommendation. Next slide. Yes, recommendation. It is recommended that our research institutes should focus attention in developing strategies for using nanomaterials to clean oil spillage. Thank you. So how many minutes do I have left? You have to pay me. Thank you. Thank you.
Please, a round of applause for this presenter that gave us extra time. Please put your hands together for him. He's really from Bayelsa State. All right, thank you for giving NSE that extra time. So we move on to the fifth presenter on blue economy resources and technologies, Ojo Oyeshola Akinloye. Please put your hands together as he makes his way. Please put your hands together, don't get tired. Thank you very much. I'm sure a good example has been set, so you will improve on it. 10 minutes, thank you.
Good morning, Madam President and distinguished engineer. My name is Engineer Oyeshola Ojo, and my talk is about blue economy resources and the technologies. What is blue economy? Blue economy is a concept. Please, can you give me the introduction slide? Blue economy technology is a concept that was originated from the... It's continue.
Please move to the next slide. Just move me.
Okay. So blue economy is a concept that originates towards the preparation for United Nations Convention on Climate Change in 1997. That is Paris. And this was further emphasized in 2012 by United Nations, in a convention, United Nations Convention on Sustainable Development Goal. Various definitions have been proposed, and various sorry, this is not my slide. This is the proceeding. This is not the slide, please. You give me time. This is not my slide.
So please just go ahead. Please kindly find his slide. Blue economy resources and technologies. The slide, please. Yes. But you can go ahead, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Blue economy is a concept that talks about the sea resources and how we can have a sustainable economic development. The World Bank defined blue economy as the ocean resources for sustainable resources for growth, improved livelihood, job creation, while preserving the ocean health. Blue economy can also be referred to as marine or or marine or ocean economy. Let's look at ocean for a start. Ocean provides us with food. It provides mineral resources. We generate oxygen from ocean. It absorbs carbon dioxide, that is greenhouse gases. It mitigates the climate change, and it also determines the weather patterns. It also serves as the highway for international trade. Ocean connects us. It's a backbone of world communication, and it has been a driver of world economy. The ocean provides significant social, economy, and environmental benefit to humankind. United Nations Convention on Trade and Development identified that ocean economy sector is a vehicle towards more sustainable and inclusive economy, a pathway on marine and coastal environments. Ocean is essential for habitation of the earth. We can only imagine living without the ocean. That is even why our earliest parents tend to create village settlements close to water. And even the Almighty God created water for us in the garden. Nigeria have come to realization of the importance of ocean, marine or ocean economy by creations of Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Technology in August 2023. The objective of my research, to grow the global economy via blue economy resources, to enhance the planet Earth and contribute to achieving various United Nations protocols on fighting and mitigating climate change, to improve social interaction and integration among the coastal community, and to enhance realization and mental and psychology improvement. The method used. The study area is Nigeria, which is located in West Africa, having a coastal line of 853 kilometers and an extended and an exclusive economic zone extending 200 meters, bordering the Atlantic Ocean to the extreme inner Gulf of Guinea. A quantitative analysis using systematic review of peer-reviewed material was used for this research. And the research seeks to provide actionable insight for policymakers, which are here, the stakeholder in Nigeria having the goal to create a resilient blue economy.
Can you pause a bit? Sorry.
That can support.
Just pause. Just pause, please.
Sorry, Sadi.
It's his slides that they are yet to project.
Yes, the slide is here. I sent it to you.
Please, can we project the slide?
I can give
Blue economy, resources and technologies. So maybe just go to the main findings.
My findings. The blue economy resources can be classified into two. We have the living resources and the non-living resources. The living resources in blue economy are plants, animals, microorganisms that live in aquatic bodies. And they have sustainable harvest. They can be sustainably harvested, cultured, and utilized for food, energy, medicine, biotechnology, and ecosystem. The various categories, the first one I'm talking about is the marine and freshwater animals. Here comes the fishes, the various fish that we earn. We talk about marine mammals. These are animals that can be used for tourism or for ecosystem services. We also have marine plants, which are the sea wheel and the microalgae, which can support food, industry, biofuel, cosmetic, and climate mitigation. The aquatic microorganisms, these are microscopic organisms that serve the ecosystem and have economic value, such as marine bacteria and fungi, plankton. Planktons are plants that live in the sea. They work virtually like they produce CO2. They take in CO2 and give us oxygen. This is how ocean is able to balance the atmospheric oxygen. Then there's other area in genetics. There are a lot of research going on in genetic
Please,
resources.
you may have to go towards the end because you have just about 2.5 minutes.
Okay,
I'm sorry.
The non-resources I've mentioned, let me go straight to my conclusion, then my recommendation. My conclusion, with increasing demands of resources to achieve global food, energy, and water nexus, the rapid decline in land-based resources, ocean resources represent both the solution and the booster to sustainable economy and environment. Innovative technology will play an important role in advancing the blue economy and by unlocking the country potentials for our natural resources and fishery, renewable energy, marine tourism. The blue economy responds to critical pathway for Nigeria economic diversification, sustainability, and technology advancement. My recommendation. The finding of this study demonstrates that Nigeria blue economy possesses significant untapped potentials that can drive sustainable economy, diversification, technology advancement, and environmental steward. Maximizing this opportunity requires deliberate actions and innovative technology deployment. The first action is for us to develop a master plan in blue economy. The stakeholder needs to come together to harness all the resources and have a way forward on how to fully harness it. The next one is improving marine governance and institution coordination. We can see that there are various institutions that is coordinating marine economy resources. They need to be harnessed together, which I believe the Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy will share. Another one is investment in modern marine technology. We need to also promote sustainable fishery and aquaculture modernization. At this point, aquaculture modernization in Nigeria has been second to none. We have actually improved drastically in that area, but there's still a large gap. In 2022, it was recorded that we produce about 1 million tons, which is far short of what we need. So this is a gap which all of us, especially our entrepreneurs, can keep into. We lose so much resources, we lose so much dollars in importing fish. Another area I also looked at is reviving the declined blue economy industry. There are a couple of companies that have been existing, but today they are no more because of some decline. Example is the new Nigeria salt factory in Ogara, and Nigeria swamp company. There are so many investments, so many resources we can harness. We also need to extend our marine renewable energy. This is another area we can step into. Like the coastal road, the 700 Calabar-Lagos coastal road. That corridor is good enough to harness wind energy. It also gives great space for development. let's look at what Lagos is doing, the Eco-Atlantic city. The private investment are able to turn a challenge, the erosion, the storm, the water storm, and even the water level, and reclaim that place for a positive economic value. Lastly, we have to promote total inclusions of all the community and all the stakeholders. Nigeria can unlock billions of dollars in blue economy potential by combining modern technology, strong economy, strong government, sustainable practice, and strategic investment. Thank you very much.
Please let's put our hands together for him, for his ability to continue even though we were not able to project the slide. Please, we apologize for that. Thank you, sir. All right, the last paper, it's Leveraging Emerging ICT for Smart Maritime Operations, a framework for process optimization in the blue economy. Professor Abdulkarim Oloyede, Professor Nasir Farouk, Dr. Lukman Olawoyi, and Dr. Mutahir Oloyede. Please put your hands together and then tell us who you are as you produce. Please, can we put our hands together? Thank you.
Am I supposed to use this, right? Yes. Okay. Thank you very much for having me. Madam President, permit me to stand on the well-established protocol. I'm here to present, to make this presentation titled Leveraging Emerging ICT for Smart Maritime Operations, a framework for process optimization in the blue economy. And I am Dr. Mutahir Oloyede. Also appreciate other authors of this paper. So let me start by, we've been talking about blue economy since Monday, and while I was doing a little bit of research, before I started doing the research, anytime I hear blue economy, I get confused. And even after the presentation yesterday, some of us were still gathered, still trying to figure out what exactly is the blue economy. So I realized that, we're all engineers and, we like complex things. We like it really hard, and then we try our best to understand what is really hard. From my definition I had on the slide as well, I have that the blue economy offers a transformative pathway for sustainable development by harnessing oceanic aquatic resources for economic growth, ecological resilience. That again is a little bit complex in the real sense. So I'm going to try just now to make it simple. So blue economy, blue the waters, economy, how can we get money off the waters? How can we get money off the oceans? How can we get money off the rivers? So that is exactly in a very simple way, because it won't really make sense if we are living here after the conference and we still do not understand what blue economy is all about. Thank you. So it is clear, it is very clear that there's a very large untapped resources when it comes to the blue economy. How many of us have visited the waterfront in Cape Town? When you visit the waterfront in Cape Town, that's a typical example of what blue economy is all about. I'm not sure we have anything like that or as such. Huh?
8 more minutes.
8 more minutes, wow. So, well, untapped resources as regards the blue economy, digital exclusion, which is why I'm here. I'm being a little bit partial here because I'm from the technology sector. And there's nothing you want to do about there's no sector you want to talk about these days that you will not include. Please, next slide, please. If there's anyone that can assist me, please. Yes, so there's nothing you want to talk about. No sector, health sector, finance sector, you must talk about technology. So anywhere there's no technology, you are not thriving. So what are the governance challenges in the maritime sector? So we have a lot of agencies. We have the NEMASA, we have the National Inland Airways, we have MPA. So as a result, there are different policies. I don't know, maybe there are representatives here. We must, align. There should be a synergy. Also, the exclusion of local communities. We want to go to the riverine areas, we want to go to the ocean areas. We must involve the stakeholders. The communities are the direct stakeholders. We can't exclude them from this project. And then climate change vulnerabilities. Well, the last speaker was talking about how the Eco-Atlantic is being controlled. So those are the kind of steps that we need. We can't be talking of blue economy when our waters are coming to the streets, when there's erosion from the bar beach coming into our homes. It means we're not ready. So all these have to be put in place, and the only set of people that can help us do that is the government. Next, please. So telecommunication policy as a driver for inclusion. Like I earlier said, technology has to be involved. So telecommunication policy shapes access to affordable, reliable connectivity. If you see this whole space we are in, and there is no internet, the only internet accessible is this iTable. Trust me, everybody on the floor here will be here. So that is what telecommunication can do for you. That's what internet can do for you. Next, please, because of time. So what are emerging ICT technologies? So just a brief example, some examples have been mentioned. We have the cognitive radios that assist to enhance unused internet, the TV white space as well. We have IoT sensors and artificial intelligence that can be used to monitor our vessels. Also, some initiatives can be developed when it comes to the use of artificial intelligence. At the end of the day, all these technologies are just helping us to make it easy when it comes to the issue of blue economy. And like I said, I'm saying again, without technology, the blue economy is still in its infant stage. So we must incorporate technology while considering the blue economy. Next, please. So we had a very brief experiment in Kwara State, considering the Patigi Edu local government of Kwara State, where it was observed that we concentrate more on internet connectivity in the terrestrial, in the lands. And when it comes to the aquatic areas, we do not really invest technology in them. Also, for the qualitative stakeholder engagement, we involved 120 participants selected through multi-state certified sampling, and then we also had focus groups where we asked questions. Now, these questions were given to the direct stakeholders, meaning the community. So we had the traders, fishermen, transport owners around the areas. Then we had a quantitative technical field survey using specialized equipment, like our Samsung Android smartphones, that can run network diagnostic software. So this allowed us to take measurements, take data measurements. And then we used the MATLAB to do a form of simulation to ensure that, to represent what can happen in the real world scenario. Next, please. Next slide. So, some of the findings, we discovered that over 70% of the 45-kilometer Patigi-Edu River corridor lacks reliable mobile network with large dead zones up to 15 kilometers. So, how do we get people to come and invest if there are no technological advancement in such areas? Also, stable 2G, 3G signals are confined within 1 to 2 kilometers of major towns. Beyond this, there is absence of connectivity. Again, we need the technology, we need internet. Not to take our time. So community concerns on governance. Community leaders express frustration over exclusion from governance and emergence of coordination. So the communities are concerned, they are not being carried along. It's just like the real estate or Monile. When you want to buy land or you want to start a new GRA, you have to involve them. It's the same as this as well. Next, please. So, modeling TV white space. So we are taking an example of the Emerging ICT and see how we can model a TV white space network deployment.
Two more minutes, please.
Sorry. So we observed that 95%, if we can have 5 strategic placed TV white space base station along the Patigi-Edu corridor, we can achieve 95% coverage of low power data services. Of course, we must put in place solar powered stations with battery backup to ensure against grid instability. And then with about 75 million naira, which is just a fraction of what is budgeted for infrastructure in the state, we can be able to implement this. And of course, we've done the simulation and seen that it is feasible and it's going to work. Next, please. Also, we have a proposed multi-layered governance for the governance. So put in place infrastructure and technology, adjust our regulations to capture the community, to also capture being connected in the riverine and ocean areas. Stakeholder participation is also very important, and data services that can assist us in automating our systems when it comes to blue economy. Again, next please. Policy recommendations for sustainable development. So I think it's, next please. Next again please, because it's the same thing. So in conclusion, next please, next slide. So in conclusion, it's clear, well established that technology is very important for various sectors in the nation, across the world. So until we put this in place, then we can start talking about blue economy, because technology itself attracts investment. And by the time we put proper technology in place, trust me, the blue economy is here to stay. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much. Please, a round of applause again for all our presenters. I need to apologize that because of time, we will not be able to take any questions. Please. Okay, I can take, okay. You see, that's why it's good to have Madam President in the house. She said we can take 2. So, somebody is already standing up. All right. Please, don't greet. Just ask your question.
Very good morning.
Ha.
Please, okay, a very brief one. I can see one of the presenters made mention of an economy of over 3 trillion USD. Well, it's quite commendable, and I would like to ask a question. How can this economy, blue economy, affect landlocked states? I mean states in the northern region. How can we benefit from this huge economy? Much as officially we have something like dry port, how can we have a replica of dry port in this blue economy? Thank you very much.
Who is your question directed to?
Any of the presenters, but the first presenters were the one mentioning 3 trillion USD.
Okay. Please, a question has come from this side. We need any question from that side. All right, somebody's hand is up at that extreme end. Please, sir, we're sorry, please. We apologize. But you know, you can send your questions to info@nsc.org.ng. They will be answered, please.
Good afternoon. My name is Engineer Ali Miko Bichi, FNSC, and I'm a Deputy Director with the Nigerian Railway Corporation. My question goes to the first speaker on the development of blue economy. So my question goes like this. What kind of collaboration, deep collaboration, that you are supposed to have between you and Nigerian Railway Corporation? Why am I saying this? If you look at the infrastructure you have on the ground, all the major seaports in Nigeria are connected or are supposed to be connected to railways, even though not all of them are functioning. Secondly, railways always serve as a connector between all the seaports and what have you to the hinterland. Thirdly, there is serious activity now on the development of inland dry ports.
Please, sir, only one question.
And those inland dry ports also are connected to railways. So
Thank
what kind
you,
of
sir.
collaboration do you have? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Just one question will be answered. The rest sent to info@nsc.org.ng. All right, so who is going to answer? From the north, the first question. Okay, sir. No, his hand is up, sir, sorry. You can just use your mic.
Thank you very much. Now, talking about how those in the hinterlands, landlocked areas can benefit. We're looking at multimodal transport system. The port itself is an enabler. And there are various evacuation routes for goods from the port to the depots, to the warehouses, down to the end users. From shipping, from trucks to the rail. I came to Ibadan via rail. It is high time that we engage the federal government to be very intentional in the infrastructural network in the state. When we have ports, at the design stage, we should factor in the aspect of railway. Taking a cue from my state, for instance, our project on Ibom Port is designed with a railway system in place, and also this links it to the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Road, which, based on the design, is supposed to have the railway connection. So you see that even the interlands will be connected. The landlocked areas states will be connected. Your agri-produce will be moved through the railways to the ports, and you can now get the full potentials of our marine and blue economy. It's a multimodal transport system.
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Very much.
Sir, please, could you put in a word too? Yes, you can answer.
No.
You can. You wanted to answer before.
I think he has already delivered on what I have to say.
Okay, so can you answer the second question?
He has already answered them because he's talking about unlocking the local communities.
Okay.
So I think the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway is a very principal answer to that question. Thank you very much.
All right, put your hands together. It means that the presenters did a marvelous job, that we have so many questions. info@nsc.org.ng. Please put your hands together. Once again, we apologize that we cannot take all questions.
Please, a round of applause for them. Thank you very much. May I now invite the President of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Engineer Margaret Aino Oguntala, FNSE, to come forward and make a presentation to them. Thank you.
May I also still request that Past President Engineer Ademola Ezekiel Olorunfemi join me here. I'd handed over to him when I was going to the Young Engineers Forum. So let him come and complete the job, please. Please make the presentations. Moderator. So, congratulations. Thank you.
Group photograph. The President will now take a group photograph. Thank you.
Please, can we put those hands together for Madam President and all the paper presenters and the moderator for a great job. Once again, very good morning. our president, past presidents, distinguished fellows and engineers in the House. We will be starting off with the very first panel session for today. And I'm excited that we have all the panelists in the House. Our panel for today will be looking, if you look at your program on page number 47, it's a panel discussion session 3 with the theme Sustainable Aquaculture and Fishery Technologies, Engineering Food Security from the Ocean. If you recall last year's conference, we dealt on sustainable engineering solutions to food security. And of course, you would agree with me that there is a correlation with this year's theme where we are looking at food security from the ocean. With the challenges of feeding a growing global population, we would believe that the ocean serves as a significant part of the solution. And I believe that our panelists today, drawn up from cut across the academia, which of course is my primary constituency, the governments and industries will do a great job in showing us the way forward. Just before the panelists come up, I'd like to introduce for her keynote address the DG CEO, National Biotechnology Development Agency, Professor Abdullahi Mustafa. He's here represented by the Director, Genetics, Genomics, and Bioinformatics, Dr. Shakirat Ajenifuja Sholebo. You're welcome. Please, can we put our hands together for our keynote speaker? Thank you very much. Please, can we put our hands together and encourage her? You're welcome, ma'am.
Good afternoon, or good morning, Madam President and members of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. I'm bringing goodwill message from my Director General, Chief Executive Officer, Professor Abdullahi Mustafa, who is unavoidably absent to be here to present this paper himself. And my own name is Shakirat Ajenifuja Sholebo, as I've been introduced, the Director of Genetics, Genomics, and Bioinformatics. I'm actually a product of a faculty of engineering, but unfortunately I didn't get the appellage of engineer because I did food science. So there's a bias of doing the soft science and doing the bricks, hammers, and steel science. So maybe my coming here today will give me that appellage before I go. So I'm very happy to be here. So I'll be delivering the topic on the engineering and sustainable agriculture, aquaculture, and what biotechnology has to do with it. I know that most people here, I don't know, maybe here, but it seems I'm getting some new vibes from the Nigerian Society of Engineers that biotechnology is synonymous with GMOs. And so everybody is trying to keep away from it. But I see a warm embrace from the Nigerian Society of Engineers. Even from the last panel that was held, I saw a lot of talk on biotechnology, and I was very quite impressed that the engineers are also looking at the soft engineering part of how we can come together. So yes, we are talking about the sustainable aquaculture and how engineering can complement that, because the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy was established in 2023. So it becomes a very important sector to start talking about and looking to harnessing the potentials that are there. So the goal is actually to ensure that the marine resources are properly annexed for food security and economic development. So, and in the, for the blue economy includes the fisheries, aquaculture, marine biotechnology, tourism, and energy. Next slide, please. So a quick definition of some of those terms. Aquaculture actually refers to the organisms that can be found in the water bodies, such as fish, shellfish, seaweed, algae, and other planktons that have economic value. So how do we, how can we define engineering in aquaculture? That is the use of engineering systems to support the activities in the marine economy, where we have the technologies or engineering required for water treatment, recirculatory aquaculture system, which is the RAS, the sensors that are required, automation, and all engineering infrastructure that will support that system. So what is the role that biotechnology is playing here? A lot of investment is required for engineering. And so if this level of investment has been included in engineering, there needs to be a complementary effort from the soft engineering part of it, as I would define it, because we need to be able to have a sustainable production. We need to be able to work at the genetic level to see how the breeding and precision can be done to ensure that we have exactly what we want from the blue and marine economy resources. Biotechnology is also useful in terms of diagnosis, because there are also diseases and conditions that plagues some of these living organisms that we find within the marine ecosystem. Next slide, please. So when the topic came to the agency, we were like, oh, now the engineers want to start talking about biotechnology, and so we are very excited, because all the efforts that goes into the research in trying to develop the species of living marine resources that we need for production, for food security, needs to be complemented by the engineering side of it. So engineers are going to be enabling the design, optimization, and monitoring of the aquaculture systems. And they have a key role to play in the production processing. Even for the food processing equipment, we also need engineering, logistics and value chain, cold chain, and everything. So this involvement and the interest of the engineers in biotechnology is very strategic and timely, and would definitely support the booming blue economy that we are looking forward to in Nigeria. Next slide, please. So what are the aquaculture and fisheries opportunities that we have? The opportunities in the aquaculture and fisheries is of very great potential for food security and job creation. It supports the youth and women empowerment within the coastal communities. Then it also encourages engineering innovations that will drive the sustainability and efficiency. Next slide, please. So what are some of these key engineering innovations that we're talking about? We're talking about recirculatory aquaculture systems. This is important because when we go into the natural marine environment, we are not able to sustainably take advantage of the resources there. There's a need to bring in some more precision engineering systems that can ensure that the resources that were taken from the environment can also be returned, can be cleaned up and reused. Then offshore and closed containment cages. These offshore containment cages are used to basically go and harvest the resources within the environment. It's also important that we are able to introduce like viable seeds, that I would like to refer to them as viable seeds that can be cultured back into the environment so that those cages can actually be used to revive what is being taken out of the system. Then we also have the integrated multi-trophic aquaculture, which is the process of a scenario whereby you have different kinds of organisms within the marine ecosystem that are being cultured, so to speak. We are not just relying on the resources that is available in the natural environment. For sustainability, there's a need to ensure that we are improving what we are putting back into the system so that we can continue to get the essential resources that we need, and because of the growing population. And then there's also the digital and precision agriculture, whereby AI and the Internet of Things is also going to be used to monitor some of those systems that are being utilized. Then we also have the sustainable aqua feeds. That's the feeds that are being produced from marine resources like seaweeds, like some of the shellfishes. Those are some of the things that we can put together, because the feed that we need to provide to the marine resources is also essential, that supports the breeding process where biotechnology comes in. Then in the cold chain and value chain, of course, we know that we need some refrigerated vehicles that helps to maintain the condition and freshness of the food that we're taking out. So what's the global outlook? The Food and Agriculture Organization says that the aquaculture now takes over 50% of the global aquaculture production. So it means that the blue economy is something that is also being recognized even at the global scale. And so we are doing well to see that Nigeria is also looking at it by the establishment of the Blue and Marine Ministry by the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2023. And then we have the total production globally is 223 million tons, and Nigeria is still striving to close up a deficit of about 2.2 million tons for fish production in the country. So we see that there's a huge gap. Next, please. What's the role of NAFDA? Yes, the soft engineering, I've spoke a lot about that, and so there's a need to build capacity and, of course, build these kinds of partnership and ensure that policy supports and provide biosafety governance. What's the role of NSC? What we are doing today, bringing stakeholders together to bring up issues around all the marine and blue economy and see how we can come together to partner. So what are some of the engineering pathways for Nigeria? The modular and low-cost recirculatory aquaculture systems, the IMTA that I talked about, where we have multi-trophic systems, digital monitoring, strengthening the cold chain value system, and other aquaculture, offshore aquaculture developments. So what are the challenges that are within the system? We have the high capital and skill requirements. We have the environmental risks that are associated, especially when they are poorly managed. There are also regulatory gaps, and then the risk of excluding small stakeholders, as have been, highlighted earlier, where we are being asked. Next slide, please. How the communities, I'm there. So the recommendations. So we need to prioritize modular and low-cost innovations so that everybody can be part of the innovation system. Then support for offshore and renewable aquaculture pilots, establishing open data platforms where people can access information and come together in terms of who is doing what. Then there's a need to invest in training and local manufacturing of some of these equipments, as most of them are brought in from outside the country. In conclusion, we are saying that engineering and biotechnology coming together is a key partnership to exploring and harnessing the blue economy to its maximum to support the system. And then the strong collaboration is essential amongst engineers, biotechnologists, and policymakers. So the call to action is that we need to come together to scale for sustainable aquaculture fisheries systems. All of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shakiri. Thank you very much for setting the tone and laying the foundation for the panelists. Okay, so right about now, I would like to call on our panelists who've been seated patiently. We have the very first panelist, Dr. Ansa Ibinimi. She's online. I've been informed that she's online. She will join us online. Director, African Regional Aquaculture Center. You're welcome, ma'am. And the second panelist we have is Engineer Dobra David Ado, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. He's the Head of Engineering Services, Bayelsa State Ministry of Agriculture and Natural Services. Please give it up for Engineer Dobra Ado. You're welcome, sir. We also have from the University of Ibadan, the Department of Aquaculture and Fishery Management, Professor B.O. Omitoyin. Prof, you're welcome, sir. Please, can we put our hands together for our panelists as they come up stage? Welcome, Prof. Thank you, sir. Our fourth panelist, we have Engineer Dr. O.B. Odutan, FNSC. He is an expert in fishery, facility design, adjunct lecturer also at the Department of Agriculture and Environmental Engineering, University of Ibadan. You're welcome, Doctor. We also have from the academia, I'm excited, we have a lot of people from my constituency, Engineer Professor Akingbile Christopher, Fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Federal University of Technology, Akure. Welcome, sir, all the way from Futa. Please put our hands together for Prof, please. Thank you. We have the last panelist, certainly not the least, Suleiman Abubakar from African Circle Pollution Management Limited. He is the Head Business Development at the African Circle Pollution Management Limited. Please put those hands together as welcome Suleiman Abubakar. You're welcome, sir. And of course, to moderate this panel, permit me to invite most respectfully Engineer Olusegun Olamoyegun, FNSC. He is a founder of Twinnovative and he is an adjunct professor at the Pennsylvania State University. Welcome, Prof. Distinguished engineers, this is our panelists for panel session 3. Sir, please, for want of time, would like to constrict you to 30 minutes. Thank you very much.
Hello? Yeah, good day, everyone. Distinguished guests, engineers, industry leaders. You want to give that? Yes. Thank you.
Industry leaders, members of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. My name is Olusegun Olamoyegun, as mentioned, and I'm an expert in digital twin, engineering data, and facility design. Our panel discussion today is on sustainable aquaculture and fisheries, engineering food security from the ocean. Nigeria's fisheries and aquaculture sector is already a major economic opportunity, valued over $3 billion, with the potential to grow even more as we modernize the value chain. This is a source from Allied Market Research. Also, there's a huge gap in consumption within our country. In Nigeria, we consume 3.6 metric tons of fish, and we only produce 1.2 million metric tons, which has a deficit of 2.4 million. And this is from Federal Ministry of Agriculture. That was a publication in 2024. Globally, there is an estimated that world fish protein will be supplied over 60%. That's what's projected according to FAO. And what exactly are we doing as a people? And that is why today's conversation is extremely important. Our panel brings together leaders in engineering policy research, facility designs, and people that are shaping the Nigeria's sustainable aquaculture. Their insight will show us what is possible, what is practical, and what we need to act on to ensure affordable fish protein for millions of Nigerians. So let us dive into these powerful ideas and the solutions our expert will share. I encourage every engineer to listen, spot opportunities, and help build the future of the Nigeria's aquaculture industry. Now to our panelists. I'll be starting with Engineer Sulaiman Abubakar. How can African Circle Pollution Management Limited expertise in pollution management contribute to sustainable aquaculture practices in Nigeria and the broader African region? Just please.
Thank you. Distinguished colleagues, good afternoon. The simple equation for sustainable food security from the ocean is simple. No clean water, no fish. When we talk about aquaculture, we mostly think about feed, fingerlings, and so on, forgetting the environment in which the aquaculture thrives. So without the environment, the aquaculture will not thrive. So let me give you a bit of a statistics. We all know that 71% of the earth is made of water. Out of that 71%, 68% is the ocean water. So we all know that 80% of the world cargo is being transported by ships. So that means the ships pose a threat to the environment. Also, the threats the coastal aquaculture usually faces are the tragedy of the commons, as I like to call it. One is the industrial runoffs. Two, municipal waste. Three, the ship waste. So African Circle Pollution Management Limited is a 100% Nigerian company that is saddled with the responsibility of the provision of port reception facility for vessels coming into Nigerian waters on behalf of the Nigerian Ports Authority. So at African Circle, what we do is we're the ones in charge of waste management from the vessels. So when vessels come, we go for inspection. Vessels that need to discharge waste, we collect the waste on behalf of Nigerian Ports Authority. So by taking charge of the waste, the hazardous and non-hazardous waste, we have lowered the biological oxygen demand and the chemical toxicity of the water, which in turn provides a sanitized and sterile environment for high-yield aquaculture to thrive. So aquaculture is also the fact that 68% of the ocean is used to get our food. So we have to protect the environment. That is very key. Also, African Circle Pollution Management Limited has invested a lot in the provision of advanced liquid waste treatment facilities, which treats complex waste from the vessels. Example of this waste are sludge, slopes, bilge water, and so on. So by treating the waste and stopping the waste from getting to the marine environment, you are protecting the aquaculture and thereby increasing the yield and production of these fishes. So that also, in turn, affirms the SDG's sixth goal, which is clean water and sanitation. So without clean water, we will not have an environment that supports production of these fishes, which is the aquaculture. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Before I go to the next question, I would just want to prompt Dr. Ansah. She's online. I'll be asking you a question after Dr. Ado. You spoke about clean water, and that's very, very important. And that prompted me to take it to the question to Dr. Ado, which is from Bayelsa State Ministry of Agriculture. The question is, what is the most important engineering solution for sustainable aquaculture in Bayelsa's vulnerable ecosystem?
Good afternoon, everybody. Let me just look at Bayelsa itself. Bayelsa is in the south-south region of Nigeria. Bayelsa, we would say, is more riverine than rivers and more deltaic than delta. So in this regard, we'll be looking at what is there for us when we look at the engineering solutions. The presenter talked about recirculatory aquaculture system, which is the RAS. Then there's one key thing I would love to talk about, which is a new technology that is in sync right now, which is called the cage culture system. Yes, the cage culture system gives you, it's an open-ended system because for us Bayelsans, we deal with the flooding issues because when we look at, we have two geographical seasons types. We look at the coastal wetlands and we look at the mangroves. So when we look at those systems, you see that the mangroves absorb a whole lot. There are no erosions on that end and there are no flooding on that end. So when you look at the cage culture system, now the cage culture system provides you with an ending. We don't have issues with flooding, and it's designed to suit any kind of situation. Even you can actually do it because we have a whole lot of river bodies around the state. So we can do it in our creeks, we can do it in our rivers. We can also approach it in the oceans. It's something that will strive in every aspect of it. Now, looking at the other aspect of the integrated aquaculture system, which is more of agriculture and aquaculture. You can do the aquaponics, which you have plants on top of the water and have your aquaculture underneath. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. I just want to confirm Dr. Ansah can hear us, technical team.
I can hear you. I don't know if you can hear.
We can hear you. Thank you very much. I will just go ahead to the question, and I believe you'll be able
There's
to.
an echo.
Okay, let's just go ahead to the question. That's Dr. Ansah she's the Director, African Regional Aquaculture Center, ARAC. And the question to you, Ma, is what are the most promising species for mariculture, that's a sea-based aquaculture, in Nigeria? What research is ARAC conducting to improve their breeding and growth? Okay, while we manage that interruption, we would just want to move to.
I'm glad to be here today. I wish I was there physically, and I pray this network will do us well. Sorry. Hello. Can I continue?
Yes, you can continue.
Okay, so I got the question. So ARAC, for short, is a department of the Nigerian Institute for Oceanography and Marine Research. And we are directly under the Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy. So we are looking at species that could be cultured. And we're carrying out researches on species that could be cultured. We've done a lot over the years, and I'll just give a rundown of two groups, the fin fishes and then the non-fin fishes. Okay, so the fin fishes, we've done tap on how to culture the ponds, rear them. So Tapon Atlanticus is actually, and it commands Nigeria, we eat everything. So these are things we can think about if we're going to develop it as a sport fish to attract more income, more revenue. We can also think about that. Then we have our mullets. People love mullets all over the world. These are marine fishes. We've developed technology on growing mullets, but we need to go a step further in breeding the mullets. To breed mullets, you need to breed them in the sea. That is the natural habitat. Otherwise, you use the engineering that we're talking about today to simulate the natural habitats on land or close to the ocean, and then allow them to breed, induce them to breed, and provide the fingerlings for our coastal farmers who can rear the fishes to table size. So a lot of the things that are hindering the progress of aquaculture, we heard the speaker talk about the deficient amount of fish we have in the country, so many mouths to feed. Apart from that, we know that we're eating less than what the world recommends, of about 23 kilograms per person per head per year. We're doing about 11. So this one, the way forward is to produce the fish. In other parts of the world where aquaculture is advancing, they're doing a lot. The former panelists that spoke before me talked about the cage aquaculture. That is the future for marine aquaculture, because if you are going out there in the sea, you must develop the technology to contain your fish inside the cages. We know that this may cause more problem in the future, so the people in pollution should also start telling us how we are going to manage the waste that comes from cage aquaculture. And that is where integrated multi-trophic aquaculture comes in, because the organic waste produced by the fish that are being fed in the cages can be utilized as nutrients to the crops, the seaweeds that will be growing beside them right there in the ocean. And also the sediments that drop from the cages can be utilized by another group of aquatic organisms like the shellfishes, the bivalves. I'll give you a simpler name. The cockle, the blood cockle lives in the marine environment, and it is the most expensive mollusk. It's like a snail with two shells. It's the most expensive mollusk in our markets today. So these are nutrients that are just going to waste and pollute the water, but the cockle can take it up and utilize it. Presently at ARAC, we are carrying out a breeding survey funded by the hydrocarbon, let me call the short name, HiPrep. HiPrep is doing a lot in Rivers State, and they are funding a research project on the breeding of the blood cockle. And we've also done a lot of work on oysters. These are marine organisms, and we can develop them, but we need the engineering sector to partner with us. We cannot be doing these things on our own and cracking our heads. Yes, in our own simple ways, we've constructed cages, but we need the engineers to balance it out with us, to help us, guide us, but they must work side by side. We cannot be working in silos and expect that we will advance in all these technologies. Mind you, all the gear we use have to be produced. The feed we are feeding the fish with is another issue that we need to look out for. Because of the shortness of time, I'm just saying all these things at once. So like the feed aspects,
There's a serious
Dr.
crisis, feed
Dr.
crisis in Nigeria.
I will still ask you more questions. So maybe you can, if you can quickly round up on this particular question, and then I'll come back to you after this.
Yes, so I've mentioned the species that we are looking at in the institutes, the tapon, the mullets. I forgot to mention the croaker, red snapper. And then for the non-shell fishes, I mentioned the bivalves, cockle, oyster. We also have other gastropods like periwinkle. And still, we do algae production. We have
Thank you very
the
much.
algae that are utilized in the industry and beyond. For instance, spirulina can be used for human beings.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yep. She mentioned that, they need engineers' collaboration, and she also said that the way forward is to produce the fish. And that's going to take me to the question to Professor Christopher Akimbile. The question is on practical solutions. What are the most impactful engineering innovations right now for making aquaculture in Nigeria more productive and sustainable?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. A number of some of these solutions have been mentioned, and I probably will just emphasize one or two that we fail to take cognizance of. Of course, the issue of recirculating aquaculture system has been flooded, so I don't need to talk about it. But there's recirculating aquaculture system where you recycle already recycled, treated wastewater to produce fish. This is what we are working on, and I have two of my PhD students who are working on that. And we're doing it in conjunction with the International Water Management Institute in Ghana to be able to see the quality of fish we're going to get and minimize pollution so that we don't waste water as far as that is concerned. The integrated fish farming, wherein you combine your fish farm with other crops and animals to be a bit integrated and recycled all the waste. You have your fish, your poultry over a fish pond, the droppings, the fish feeds on it, the water you recycle, you retreat to irrigate and all that is another one. The cage culture has also been mentioned. Now, a lot of people have also talked about the emerging technologies, about the smart technologies, the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, usage of unmanned flying object, drones, and all that. This is also one of the future of actually increasing food security as far as aquaculture is concerned. I also want to mention here, we do not have a national identity as far as aquaculture is concerned. And that's a big problem that we have. National identity, what exactly is our goal, our vision, our direction? Yes, we produce about 260,000 tons of fish annually. We require about 2.4 million metric tons. We're losing about 1.3 billion American dollars annually. What about the thefts, the coastal fish thefts that are just staying a few nautical miles away from our coastlines, and they are taking away our fish, and they are unchecked? What's the duty of the coastline guards? If you do have, what are they doing? If you don't, we should. Then what about the fact that these states that share boundaries with the Atlantic Ocean can also replicate what the federal government is doing under the current dispensation by creating Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy so that we can actually increase production of aquaculture, whatever, that can actually be beneficial to us. Those are sustainable steps that we need to take such that we can actually take advantage of the huge amount of resources that are available for us in the coastline. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Dr. Odunton, from your facility design expertise, what is the single most important design principle for a land-based fish farm in Nigeria
to maximize productivity while conserving water and energy?
Thank you so much for the question. Mainly in aquaculture, when we are looking at the simple model that we can use is the use of the flow rate, the water flow rate. Most of the problem we have in this area needs a lot to help us to really know how to control our water flow rate and then our ability to be able to reuse the water and also to be able to maximize the pumping of this water for a simple use. And we find out that most farmers look at the area of feed alone. If your water quality is not good and is not well managed, and your pumping rate require a lot of energy, so we should look at the way to balance this in a way to be able to control that flow of the water in our design so that with the minimum pumping, we can able to achieve a very good result. So if we put emphasis on this, then other parameters that we work together in fish, then we'll have a good turnout. And then our trade-off will be able to get closer so that our farmer will be able to take something at the end of the day. No matter what we design, the farmer needs to use it. We must make our design also to be very, very simple to the farmer so that the farmer can be able to utilize them, use them properly, and that is where the engineering aspect is the key in our design to make things to change. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. A round of applause, please. All right, to Professor Bio Omitoyin. From a management perspective, what is the biggest gap between the aquaculture technologies developed in academia and what is actually being adopted by small-scale farmers on the ground?
Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. The biggest gap as far as aquaculture is concerned is the limited adoption of advanced technologies in fish health, genetic, and system designs. Technological innovation must be simple. It must be adaptable. It must be efficient. It must be cost-effective. It must be such system that can be optimized, and it must also be accessible. I think these are what we really need in the sector. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. That's the shortest response so far. And we appreciate it. Now, we have basically 10 minutes more. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to run it from Professor Oduton down. I'm going to ask you a question. You respond to the question and provide your closing remark. I hope that's good, right? Good. Okay, good. So, Professor Oduton, or Dr. Oduton, what are the common engineering flaws you see in existing aquaculture facilities in Nigeria? And how can they be corrected with simple, affordable retrofits?
Okay. Most of the flaws that we have in aquaculture system in Nigeria today is that most of the people who are involved in the structural, in the hydraulic characteristics of the design are not really engineers. And then when you look at this aspect, you find out that there is a lot of problem. Initially, people invest a lot of money in aquaculture, and within short time, everything will collapse because of lack of basic principle in the connectivity of the design. So in this area of the design needs to be improved for us to be able to move forward in aquaculture. The design needs to be involved the right people the expert in this area so that they can put the right thing there, especially in the area of the piping. You will find out that so many volume of water does not have a correlation with the piping setting of most of the aquaculture setting that we have. And surely, the problem will come over the time of usage. And at the end of the day, the farm or the system will not be able to generate the necessary outcome, necessary yield that the system needs to bring out. So we need to look at that to get our system well involved with the experts and using the basic principle. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. Professor B. Omitoyin, during your previous response, you said we have economic losses due to non-exploratory of the industry. Now, my question to you now is, for achieving food security quickly, which species and production systems do you recommend as the most viable for Nigerian farmers and why?
Thank you very much. For food security, I will recommend the culture of catfish. That's Clarias garapinos, Heterobranchus, Bidosalis, the hybrid between Clarias and Heterobranchus, which is called Heteroclarias, and also tilapia, Urochromis niloticus. And the reason why I'm recommending this is that these species are highly adaptable to our environment. They have a fast growth rate. They have high market demand. Their tolerance to local condition. They're also resistant to disease. And the system I will recommend is earthen pond system. The earthen pond system is the closest to nature, and most small-scale farmers have access to land, and they can do this. A very good example of this is what we see at Ijebu-Ode Irwe Community Fish Farm, where we have over 1,500 farmers farming in earthen pond with sustainable system. They have their feed mill, they have their, currently we have set up a water quality lab for them, where when they have issue with their water quality, they can just come there, take their water there, and analyze their water. So this is a very good system that can quickly make Nigeria to be food secure. And production cycle is very short. You can do 2 cycles in a year, which makes the system a very perfect system for Nigeria aquaculture sector. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And Engineer Ado, how can we best train local communities to use and maintain new aquaculture technology?
Okay, let me take there's a model that we use in Bayelsa State. What we do basically is to allow the communities to own the project. When the communities own projects, they protect it, they preserve it. They do a whole lot with it. The project becomes theirs, so they can actually fight for it. Now, in the training aspect of the community members, young men, youths and women, what we do, we give them the hands-on training. Most of the time, we provide them with facilities that they can go there, get the in-depth knowledge that they desire, which is, the last one we did was with the CSS Training Institute. And they went there, got the desired skill, and they came back. Now, you can incentivize what you are doing with them. After the training, you give them a whole lot of input to do what they are doing. And the last but not the least is to encourage them. These people need to be followed up. They need to be followed through. After the hands-on training, you empower them, you incentivize them, then you follow up. Once you don't follow up, it's like building to crash. So as much as we can do that, that means we are building an economy that is ready to stand. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We have 2 more minutes, so each of you are going to take a minute, please. Thank you. Engineer Sulaiman, the question to you is, how do you use public-private partnership playing a role in promoting sustainable aquaculture and fisheries management in Nigeria? And what opportunities do you see for collaboration? A minute, please.
Thank you so much for that. So currently, I think the PPP model has worked effectively in Nigeria to get a lot of projects done. For example, African Circle Pollution Management is a living example of that. African Circle has been in existence for over 2 decades. It's a public-private partnership between the Nigerian Ports Authority and African Circle to provide port reception facility. So the model has worked. In fact, now there is another PPP model with NIMASA, Nigeria Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, to provide the same port reception facility but for the offshore waste, which is also called Offshore Waste Reception Facility. So African Cycle in this aquaculture topic is, we look at ourselves as a provider of the enabling environment for the aquaculture to thrive. Without the environment, the aquaculture will not thrive. So the fact that we're operating within the ports and offshore, that's a large area covered in the ocean. So we do that and then we prevent a lot of waste going into the water, which in turn will affect the production of the fish and food security that we're expected from the ocean. So I also encourage, currently, the model that works best is PPP. Government just needs to provide an enabling environment. Then the private sector participation is key because government is overburdened with a lot of expenses and things. So by the time you aid the private sector participation, it lessens the burden, the finances on the government. As such, you get a lot of things done through partnership. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So in conclusion, this is going to be to Professor Christopher, and the question is, on the future, what one emerging technology do you believe will be a game changer for securing our food supply from the ocean in the next decade?
Thank you very much. I think one game-changing emerging technology is precision aquaculture agricultural system. You know, we used to have precision agriculture. This is precision aquaculture, where you deploy technology, bring in the sensors, artificial intelligence to measure the health, the water quality, the high fecundity, and what have you. That will enable us to move on a consistent basis to increase fish yield. And that in itself will actually also help us to increase our revenue as far as fish production is concerned, either for export or for local consumption. That is the way to go. Thank you very much.
A round of applause, please. Thank you very much, our panelists. I think every one of us have gotten a good insight into what industry is. And one key thing is that we are losing economically because we are not exploring the opportunity. And Dr. Ansah will not be able to take it because of time, but she made mention that the ARAC needs collaborators, they need engineers. Please, let's explore this opportunity and enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, our panelists. Please, can we put our hands together once again for our panelists for doing a great job. Thank you for the insightful words that came through this panel session. I'd like to, at this juncture, most respectfully, welcome upstage to present their words our President, Engineer Margaret Aina Oguntola, FNSC, FNSCHE. Can we put our hands together as she comes up to please present their words to the panelists as well as the moderator. Okay, that's for the lead speaker. Can we also have the keynote speaker, please? Keynote speaker, Professor Abdullahi Mustafa, who was represented by Dr. Shakira Jenufuja. Yes, ma'am. Can we encourage her, please? Thank you very much. And just after this panel, we will be taking the next panel session. Okay. The next Engineer Dobra David Ado, FNSC, Head of the Engineering Services, Bayelsa State Ministry of Agriculture and Natural Resources. Thank you, sir. How many more do we have? Engineer Professor Christopher, FNSC. And lastly, the moderator, Engineer Olusegun. Yes. Okay, so I'd like to crave your indulgence to please.
So after the group photograph, they will, as you file down, you will have the opportunity of getting a handshake from the oldest past president sitting here at this moment. Engineer Ifedayo Akintunde, fellow Nigerian Society of Engineers, fellow Academy of Engineering.
Okay, Mrs. Suleiman Abubakar from the African Circle Pollution Management Limited, Head Business Development. Thank you very much, panelists. Please, our lead speaker, please can you join the group photograph? Thank you. Thank you, Madam President. Thank you so much, your panelists.
Please, let's put our hands together for them. Let's put our hands together for them. Thank you very much. Please, just to let us know that we have another exit door just by your right. As you're seated, in front of you to your right is another exit door. Let's try and decongest the door we have behind. And we shall continue quickly to panel section 4. But before then, please, I request that we just stand up, stretch our body. We've been sitting down for a very long time. Just stand up, stretch your body. Do like this. Let's go together. Just raise your hands up. That is good. Then together we go to the left. Okay, just follow me. Then that way. That way. Then like this. When you turn, greet the person that you see. When you turn, anything you like, tell the person. As you are doing that, let me be inviting Engineer Professor Olumide Ogundikpe, FNSC, and Engineer Ogumola Tosin, FNSC. They will be doing a presentation very quickly for us on learning management system. So stretch your body, stretch your leg. Thank you, thank you, thank you. No, with President. No, once they just do that one now, they will enter the presentation. All right, thank you, thank you. Let us have our seats. Thank you. Very quickly, in 5 minutes, and then we continue to panel session 4. Thank you. so you can start now. Thank you, please.
Okay, 8 minutes, maybe 8 minutes. I'll just do. Okay. We should wait for the video to let them know that the video is playing. The media team, please, let's have the sound for the video.
Expanding, transforming, but behind every structure, system, and solution lies an engineer. And today, more than ever, the future needs engineers who are skilled, agile, and globally competitive. Our engineering community is rich with potential, but lacks unified access to mentorship, modern learning, practical exposure, and assessment tools. But that changes now. Engineers across all divisions can now learn, grow, and upskill on one unified digital platform created for them. The Nigerian Society of Engineers is committed to bridging this gap, to empower every engineer, from student to professional, with the tools required to excel. And through initiatives like the Nigerian Engineering Olympiad, NSE continues to inspire excellence and nurture the next generation of innovators. This new platform extends that same vision, supporting Nigeria's engineering ecosystem with the tools needed to learn, innovate, and grow. Through this platform, NSE members can now access structured engineering courses, earn CPD points, build industry-relevant skills, and connect with mentors across all engineering divisions. This platform also integrates TESI, a durable skills assessment that helps every engineer discover their strengths, identify improvement areas, and develop the competencies needed for employability and entrepreneurship. Join the future of engineering in Nigeria. Register today as an NSE member. Experienced engineers can become verified NSE mentors, guide the next generation, and earn recognition, badges, and CPD rewards for your impact. Nigeria.
Thank you. Madam President, kindly permit me to stand on the protocols as established earlier today. Good morning, everybody. I'd like to inform us that the Nigerian Society of Engineers, under the leadership of Madam President, signed a Memorandum of Understanding with People Capital Global on digital academy, as we just saw in the presentation. And the digital academy is to provide opportunity for the delivery of continuous professional development courses online for capacity building of engineers. And likewise, there's going to be opportunity for internship and early career placement, likewise for the young engineers. And then mentorship program, where the experienced engineers will have the opportunity of mentoring the young ones. And the organization have worked tirelessly, and today they are going to be presenting to us for us to have information about this great opportunity provided by the Nigerian Society of Engineers under the leadership of Madam President. And we have here today two representatives of the organization, Ms. Sandra Williams and Vision Olufeagba. They will be talking to us in the next 7 minutes. Thank you.
Good afternoon, distinguished engineers. Good afternoon, Madam President, standing on all existing protocols. Today I'm here to share how our new partnership, PCG, powered by Words Online, with the NSE Digital Academy, how it can effectively help us as engineers to navigate our continuous professional development. Words Online is the engine powering this partnership. It's a single ecosystem, a single marketplace that brings together learning, mentorship, career development, and job readiness for engineers, fellows, and young innovators within our ecosystem. From engineers to students to fellows, they now have a platform where they can learn, practice, grow, and track their career development. This is the foundation upon which we build NSC Digital Talent Transformation. Please, next slide. So what is the value of this platform for NSC as a whole? For NSC as a body, this platform becomes your unified digital academy. It supports the MOPSA agenda by improving learning access, strengthening the youth pipeline, and giving every branch the tool to engage members more effectively. It also helps NSC to position itself globally as it is, as it is a society that is modern, data-driven, and future-ready itself. Please, next slide. So for members, for you as a member, what is the value of this platform to you? For members, the value are very, very immediate and very practical. Engineers cannot take continuous professional development courses anytime. These courses are very, very practical. They are real-world-based tasks that are created by fellow engineers who have been practicing in the industry for a very long time. It means that for you who have been in the ecosystem can take the hand of the young engineers and mentor them using this platform, and also taking continuous professional courses and earning what we call CPD points that you can use at any point in time. So for the young students and the young engineers itself, the platform serves as a ramp in the engineering profession. Through assessment, it means that these people, this set of young engineers, can take tertiary assessment. That assessment basically helps them to determine how far they are, what they need to learn, and how they can effectively progress in the engineering profession itself. This is not just a future plan. The plan is already in rollout. It is very, very active, and it is ongoing. So what has been achieved so far, just like engineer had mentioned, through the signing of the MOU? The implementation has started already, just like you have seen in the video. We have conducted the need analysis. Survey has been sent to members. So please, I would like to use the opportunity to urge us to please, if you have seen the survey, kindly take them so that we can know the kind of courses that you need and you want to also learn. Customization of this NSC Digital Academy has also started. We have initiated work on the CPD Academy. It means that you as an engineer, you could easily create course content on the platform from your own knowledge itself. So I would like to urge us once again to please take up our phone. Please, the last slide where you have the QR code. I would like to urge us to please take out our phone. Just quickly scan the QR code. It will take you to the platform. So we do expect that you nominate brand champions, approve pilot CPD courses, support Olympia digital rollout, take the tertiary assessment that are very available, join the mentorship platform. You could serve as a mentor and take the hand of the young engineers in the society. Register for the Olympiad and complete the assessment. And for you as a company, you could help us create various job assessments, various job simulations, which could help these engineers. In conclusion, the blue economy presents a massive opportunity for Nigeria, but it requires engineers who are skilled, adaptable, and future-ready. Through this partnership, NSC is making a historic investment in its members, its students, and in its future. Thank you very much for your time, and we do hope that you interact with this platform as we look forward to working with you now and continuously. Please, you can take it back to the QR code. You can either scan the QR code or you can just easily type the URL on your platform so that you could interact with it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandra. I have the honor of bringing up Madam President to declare the NSC Digital Academy open. Please, a round of applause for Madam President as she comes up.
Good afternoon again, everyone. The discussion on this digital academy actually started in May when I went for the offshore technology conference in Houston. And somebody called me and said they would like to collaborate with the NSA. And I'm glad that we have been able to sign the MOU, and now you have the post-MOU signing here presented to you today. Please give a big round of applause to the Presidential Strategic Partnerships Committee and the Technopreneurship Committee of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. Please give them a very big round of applause. It's been a very hard, how many months now? 6, 7 months? They've worked on this very, very hard and very, very well. And now I have the honor and privilege of declaring the NSC Digital Academy open. Now, engineers, young and old, can go to this platform and benefit from all the various kinds of training and learning that you need to develop your capacity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause for Madam President and the team behind the digital app. Thank you so much for all you do. So like I said earlier, we're going on straight to panel session 4. It's on page 48 of your program, with the theme, Advancing the Frontier, Foundational Research and Development for a Sovereign Nigerian Blue Economy. I'd like to call on the panelists. We have Professor Tinuade Afolabi, MNSC, FNSC, a professor of chemical engineering, Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, Ogbomoso. Please, can we put our hands together for Prof. as she comes up? Thank you. Please put those hands together, please, for our panelists. Our second panelist, Engineer Debo Fagbemi, FNSC. He's the Chief Operating Officer of Zenergy Energy Limited, Put your hands together, please, for Engineer Debo. Thank you very much. We also have our third panelist, Engineer Dr. Diola Grace Olubenga, MNSC. She's not around. She's online. Please, technical, can you ensure that she's on the call, please? Thank you very much. We have Professor Kelani Bello, a professor of petroleum engineering from the University of Benin. Please, can we encourage them? Thank you. Professor Bello. And of course, we also have Professor Fumilola O. Agbebi. She is a director for the Center of Blue Economy and Innovation, Olusegun Agagu University of Science and Technology. You're welcome, Prof. And to moderate this panel session, we have here seated our moderator, Engineer Joseph Wakwe, FNSC. He is the lead partner, Zera Advisory and Consulting, Lagos. Engineer Joe, welcome, sir. Please, can we encourage our moderator? Thank you. It's good to have you here. And of course, the first panel, please, we will restrict you to 30 minutes. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, the president is not on seat, so I can take all liberties. So we'll start on existing protocols, and I'm happy to have quite a distinguished panel to look at the issue today. In the last 2 days, we've had quite a bit about the blue economy. And one thing that has stood out is the need for us to not just adapt all that has been done, but to domesticate technologies, to develop new ones where we can, to take advantage of the enormous benefits that could accrue to a nation that is blessed to have access to such an economic system. So this afternoon, I'm pleased to have 5 panelists. One, Dr. Grace will be joining us remotely to dissect what we need to do in terms of foundational research and development to enable the country to maximize the benefits that are accruable from our blue economy. So in no specific order, I'm going to pick up just a minute, please. Okay. All right. So I'm going to start with a colleague of mine, Engineer Debowale. Just to get an insight, one thing that has been flogged in the last 2 days has been the disconnect between R&D, the benefits, and the funding. And yesterday we had a very insightful session where they talked about the triple helix model. I would like to get your thoughts on how you think we might be able to fund research and development for the blue economy locally in Nigeria. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First off, I was introduced as Debo Fagbemi. My name is Debo Fagbami, just to clarify that, because I always emphasize, just in case I want to win the lottery and they mistakenly call a wrong name and I lose out on the lottery. So it's very important to clarify. So thank you very much. So regarding your question, Mr. Moderator, first and foremost, we need to have policies and partnerships that can basically encourage private sector involvement in R&D. And some of these probably are policies that are targeted at fiscal incentives that can attract investors, to put down their money. Now, one of such, for example, is what you call research and development or R&D tax credits. So some of these tax breaks or tax credits are incentives to entrepreneurs and investors to potentially bring in their resources and have, for example, duty waivers, when bringing in a technology or innovative forms of R&D to be able to invest in the blue economy. As you all know, most R&Ds actually take place 20, sometimes 30 years before they are eventually rolled out. And this requires a huge gestational period. So some of these fiscal incentives that are built around partnerships, with the government and other financial or funding institutions are the kind of things that can actually incentivize investors. Another opportunity that investors can cash in on, because R&D is typically a government and private sector dual involvement. Now, one other means of encouraging this kind of partnerships is the issue of blended finance and financial guarantees. Now, there's what you call, there's a methodology whereby investors can pool their resources and push it into funds that are managed by fund managers. Now, the fund managers can also have a skin in the game by putting, for example, 10 to 20% of their own money into the pool. Now, what this does is that the moment the R&D activity is going on, what happens is that by the time the project is about to roll out, if there are any failures that were overlooked, particularly during the R&D period, the fund managers will be the first line of loss takers. So the investment pool of the investor is essentially securitized up until a certain time when they can now debug and try and fine-tune all the learnings from the R&D process. So the blended finance and financial guarantees is another method where we can look at it. Now, the third one I want to talk about is sovereign and municipal funding mechanisms, where the government can encourage the building of sovereign trust funds to be able to pool, particularly, having investors, indigenous investors this time around, have access to these funds over the long term by taxing or imposing fees and taxes on those that are currently practicing in the industry as part of money they can set aside. For example, 1% of your profits annualized can be set aside into this pool, and on the long term, you can have other innovative investors, benefit from it to be able to fund their own R&D practices. So I'll stop there, Mr. Moderator. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I think that was very well explained. So, so let's assume we get funding. I'm going to go to the innovator amongst us, Professor Fumi Awebi. What will be your top 3 research areas that you think we should seriously look at to maximize or position Nigeria to take maximum advantage of the blue economy? Yes, no. Madam, I said, assuming we are to raise the funding, right? What would be the top 3 research areas of interest, if you were to make the call on the areas to invest in?
On the issue of funding, there are 3 priorities areas on the issue of funding. Then let's look at it in terms of, because the government alone cannot sustain funding. And when we want to look at it, we have to blend finance platform that is public and private investment. And the 3 areas is we have to look at the public funds, philanthropic capital, which is in terms of foundations, and we have to look at private investors. For example, government, NGO, private investors provide the growth capital and the ROI, return on investment, the shared risk involved. So those are the 3 main areas of funding that we have to look at, because the government cannot do all the funding. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Professor Bello, most of our shallow offshore assets are already matured. In most cases, they have been decommissioned. Are there opportunities to repurpose these facilities for use in the blue economy rather than the oil and gas?
Yeah, thank you very much. to repurpose some of the aging assets in our offshore facilities. Actually, we've not started the commissioning at the moment, even though many of these assets are reaching the end of their economic life. But the issue has to be done effectively, because otherwise it may create environmental issues, particularly pollution. So some of the key challenges that we have has to do with, like other speakers have said, funding and the issue of R&D. How do we ensure that, especially if you have a depleted reservoir, can we capture the CO2 and then use the existing pipeline infrastructures to be able to move the CO2 and inject into this depleted reservoir? This is fundamental, because we need to capture the CO2 because of the environmental issues, but we have some of these depleted assets or depleted reservoir where this can be injected and stored permanently. Of course, there may be challenges with repurposing the pipeline itself, and therefore we need to see looking into area of R&D to ensure that those pipelines, the integrity is still in place to be able to support whatever repurposing that we want to adopt for. So as I said, even though we have not started the commissioning, we are forward looking at the University of Benin. And what have we done? We've set up a system whereby we can take advantage of the commissioning, and the research activity has commenced. The only way we can take advantage of that is to have developed a system, a model that will enable us to take advantage of some of these depleted assets offshore. And that is going to be, going forward, that is going to create employment, that is going to create a cleaner environment, that is going to create an opportunity to decommission this facility without environmental impact. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And at this point, we will go to Dr. Grace, who is online, I believe. Can you confirm that she is, please? Excellent. So one opportunity that has been identified is the use of technology to convert what is waste, especially marine waste, to value. Are there ideas around what research can be done to do this at scale, especially given our history with plastics and all of this non-biodegradable stuff that we throw into the marine system? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor, for having me. I'm so delighted to be with you online. I wish I should have been with you physically, but since I'm not able to come because of circumstances that's beyond my control, I am really delighted to be with you. The seaweeds and the organic marine materials that we have in the marine, in water pollutions, are pollutants that are very, very micro in their scale. So research has to be targeted at micro scale level. More often than not, when we have our water polluted or plastics or maybe oil spillage on the water, the possibility is high that the dissolution of this material in the micro level. Just like if I give you a microscope now and you drop one drop of your pure water on it, you might be so much irritated we have understood very well that those dissolved microbes that are inside the water can be detected by all these bacteria or microbes in research that should be carried out. So for seaweed, for example, we can convert the seaweed that is present in the water to what we call polysaccharides, because in theory, they've been found to contain almost 90% of polysaccharides. And these polysaccharides that are contained in the seaweeds can be processed further by adding what we call plasticider. And an example of a plasticider is just all these gluing materials like starch. And that way, if we process them in the plastic industry, we'll be having films that can be used for packaging of foods or even packaging of water, which can substitute the normal polyethylene bags that we are using to package our pure water today. Essentially, we can also pack these physical plastics and subject them to what we call pyrolysis. Pyrolysis is a process in chemical engineering that has to do with the degradation of these plastics with heat in the absence of oxygen. What we get as a product out of pyrolysis is fuels. Those fuels, of course, it is only by research you can find out which category of fuels they belong to, whether they be gasoline or they be diesel, depending on the pyrolysis process, and of course the hierarchical catalysts that are subjected during the pyrolysis process. So in our water system, where we have pollutions of all these waste, we can either tackle the treatment of the waste on our water, either biologically, if we are able to identify that seaweeds are present, and if we're able to identify from our micro studies that microplastics are also present, we can reprocess them and they become fuel under a pyrolysis process. However, where we have large plastics that are blocking all our waterways, it is recommended that we have a new research that I can call town planning engineering. I'm sorry if I'm...
Yeah, go ahead, please. Looks like we'll... Oh, there, okay. Okay, while we're trying to sort that out, we will go to Professor Afolabi.
Tap it. Okay.
Madam, how do we overcome the challenge of moving marine biotech from the lab to the market? How do we address the commercialization challenges?
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. The truth actually is, for R&D, we start in the lab. And in the lab, we have a lot of results. And the major problem we have in Nigeria is that they end up just staying there. They don't get commercialized. So the question you have actually asked me is very important. So how do we go from the lab to the industry? And I think the very first thing we have to do is to actually do pilots, scale research. It's more than the lab, but it's not as big as the industry, but it's a scale-up. So if peradventure we can get something out of the pilot scale that is still relevant, like before I just go to that, let me just say, for example, now, in R&D, we already found that some of the organisms in the sea or in the ocean, they produce medicine that can cure cancer, that are anti-inflammatory, antioxidant and the like. Then, most of these organisms, especially the algae and the like, they have omega-3 and they are very good as nutrients. So since we already know that we have more than enough, you understand, advantages from the marine organisms, that they are good if we can get it to industrial scale. Then the next thing is to make efforts in order to get the pilot scale. But while they were talking, they kept on talking about investors. So in my head, I was just thinking that investors, will the investors now allow us to take the time that it needs? You understand? Because the major problem with research is time consuming. It's not something that finishes in a cycle. At a particular cycle, you have some findings, but you still need to do more. Take, for example, now, if you use let me give you an example now. Chitin and chitosins, they are from scaled organisms, and they are actually used as preservatives. Not only as preservatives, they are used as healing balm. You understand? Medicinal. They are highly medicinal. Now, if you have actually found out that these are good, do you know that if we are going to get it at the pilot scale, we need more organisms, and we need a conducive environment to grow them. And you know the problem with the economy is growth and pollution. Now, if we say we want the quantity that we will need, we will still have an environment to grow them. Are you with me? So that's why I'm thinking that we will need time. But anyway, the first step is go from lab to what? To pilot scale. Then from the pilot scale, if you have results, and we know how we can grow these microorganisms in quantity enough for industrial use, you understand? Then we can go further. Do you get it now? That is, if there is an assurance that we will have enough to produce what we have been able to find out on the research frontier for the populace. And then, sorry, before I stop, not only that we need space, we need money for continuity. You understand?
Yes.
Because this research takes money. And that's why I'm happy that you brought in people that are investors. And of course, we must be able to impress them, to show them that what we are producing is worth putting money on. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was very insightful. I guess we will take another round of questions at this point. I will start with Prof. Professor Bello, I mean. So we have, again, a strong relationship between your industry and the oceanography marine industry. A lot of what we do is related to the marine. Indeed, a lot of technologies that we use in the oil and gas came from the marine industry. What's your sense of how we might be able to, given our relatively long years of experience in this field, use experience from the oil industry and adapt them to research in the marine industry?
Thank you very much, moderator. I think the key part of this, as you said, we have a strong ties with the marine environments, because most of our offshore platforms are, of course, in the marine environments. I was talking about decommissioning earlier. There are some of these rigs or platforms that can be converted to so many other uses. For instance, we have the need to have sensors that can be connected to some of these platforms and able to acquire data which are going to be very useful to the next generation of marine engineers. There are also the need for some of the researches which are currently ongoing to be able to evaluate the corrosion of steels that we have, and how do we protect those steels against corrosions. But I think the main issue here is about funding some of these researches. I'm aware that the NCDMB have resource allocated from about 2% of the profit from the oil and gas industry to be dedicated to researches, especially for oil and gas. But of course, as we said, there's a strong relationship between the oil and gas industry and the marine environments. We also have the NUPRC, also have, that I'm aware, also have resources that are allocated particularly for decommissioning. And that is supposed to be what different research institutes, particularly the university, can make efforts to tap into, because that will help us to develop our local innovations and solutions. Most often than not, we are limited by these foreign or existing models. But we have a peculiar environment, particularly in the Niger Delta, where we are currently exposed. I mean, we are in the marine area, where we can take advantage of indigenous researches that is going to provide local solutions. Otherwise, we'll continue to go in a circle and, of course, unable to develop our expertise. In the next few years, we'll be looking for those who have expertise in marine and marine engineering. Like we have in my university today, we set up a department now, which is marine engineering. But if you look around, we struggle to be able to find resources or faculty members for that particular department. The reason is simple. We've not been able to focus our attention on critical viable economic areas, which is going to support our economy. The president said some time ago that there's huge opportunity, and we believe that if you tap into this, it's going to help both our local innovators, our researchers, to provide local solutions in the near term. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I will go to Professor Adbebi. Prof, just a quick one. How can we structure R&D to make the different subsectors of the blue economy work together synergistically instead of in silos? How can we structure research to ensure that they don't work in silos?
Yeah, I think the R&D, blue economy, we should not allow it to work in isolation. There should be synergy between the between different sectors.
Different sectors, yes.
Yes, so that one will